Hello and welcome back to The Rising Dawn, A Merchant's Revenge. I'm R, your Dungeon Master for this evening. Are we ready to go?
Yes,
please. Let the adventure begin. We catch up with the Dawnbringers after Cassian's sudden disappearance from their overnight camp led to an urgent chase across the waters of the Chase Lake to catch up with his kidnappers, who Astra, Sariel and Vanden determined must be after the reward money offered by his parents back home in Mirrortail for his safe return. Elsewhere, held captive in what appeared to be a prison cart, Cassian was forced to face some immoral actions he'd taken back in the past, as he realised his kidnappers were led by none other than Sylvette Marion, a woman whose marriage and reputation Cassian had ruined 4 years earlier. Originally taking him simply for the money, Sylvette saw red upon realising she had met him in one of his disguises in the past, and left him battered and bleeding in rage, marking him with a spell-wrought prisoner tattoo around his throat. Meanwhile, the party found an unlikely ally in the form of a benevolent water nymph who carried their ship towards Sylvette's own, which the Dawnbringers later realised worked just the same as their own enchanted boat. Sneaking up on Sylvette's camp, and with not too much fumbling, the party were able to break Cassian out of the cart without engaging with any of Sylvette's guards, and get away into the woods. Cassian confessed to the party what he'd done in the past, the information immediately shaking the strong foundations of trust the party had built up. It wasn't long until, because of the mark around Cassian's neck, Sylvette found them again and proposed he repay her for what he did to her, by the group undertaking a quest in her name that would see her placed in charge of her hometown of Firesse. Agreeing, despite some suspicions about her, the party travelled onwards with Sylvette and prepared themselves to, somehow, take back a fortress on the borders of the Chase long since lost to the local smuggling band, the River Runners. We join them now as they make port at the Firesse docks, 2 colourful dock hands running out to aid them, and a monumentous task ahead of them. Dawnbringers, you have approached the sunny township of Firesse by water, this beautiful hideaway town of Gothic colourful houses and Baroque larger buildings cut into the ripe farmland and the autumnal forests around the borders of the Chase Lake. You reached a long pontoon and docked up the Lyrebird, and 2 human dock hands have raced out to meet you dressed in bright, colourful woolen tunics embroidered with flowers. They come right up and they're like, hey, come on, up onto the docks. Oh, okay. And they're sort of reaching out, ropes thrown down to them, and they pull the boat in and start lashing it up around the edge of the docks. Come on down.
Before we leave the boat, I'm going to run back into the cabin where like the little bottle that like we keep the ship in.
Yeah.
Is like manifested again. Take it and like put it in like my bag.
Okay.
Just in case anyone comes a snooping.
Yeah.
They won't like find the bottle that the ship goes into.
I would say you can remember you can't put it in the bag of holding and just like tuck it into a pouch or something.
Yeah. I've got my regular backpack anyway, so.
2-bag Astra.
Smart.
Come on, onto the docks.
Okay.
And they will help you down, like put a big plank up and be like, hey, lovely lady. We're like, I've got it.
She'll climb down on her own.
Welcome to Firesse.
Thank you.
Docking in Firesse costs 5 silver piece a night. How many nights do you think you'll stay?
At least 3. There are the cows to see on the second day.
Oh, of course there's the cows to see.
Okay, 3 nights.
15 silver.
15 silver. They sort of stop and stare at Astra.
I can pay.
Oh, I love your colour.
Oh, thank you.
Are you here visiting someone? All of you?
Sort of. Here for work.
Yeah, here for work.
Cassian will give them the 15 silver.
Okay. Sylvette climbs up onto the plank and hops down, and one of them just turns and is like, oh, Miss Marion! Very good to see you again. And the other one, who's been quieter, sort of regards Sylvette like, Sort of drags eyes over her disapprovingly. But the first one seems completely unbothered and is like, Good to see you back in town. Your friends, where are they going to stay?
Where is there to stay?
Well, if you're looking for something quiet in the heart of town, try the Brook Inn in Black Fox Market. Night-only marketplace. Does good ale, not too pricey.
Sounds good.
Built over a blacksmith's as well, so it's always very warm inside.
Sure.
If you want something lively, of course, there is the Golden Plume Tavern in Poets Plaza, right in the heart of the action. Always with music playing. If you stay there, you have to try Fabrizio's fondue.
Yes, I was told about the fondue.
Okay.
Then there is Villa Edelweiss in West Firesse. You can look down there and sort of gestures down the shoreline to the west, and you see this like magnificent white villa with several like clay-tiled roofs in different parts. It's got a big terrace jutting out over the water. Lovely place. Best lake views in Firesse. Very expensive though.
How expensive?
Like a gold piece per night.
Oh,
No problem.
Well, I hope you enjoy your stay. We take good care of the ship.
Thank you.
thank you. We appreciate that.
I'm Viking.
Oh, hi, I'm Verdant Astra.
Astra. There's sort of no expectation that the rest of you should have to introduce yourselves. He's just stood there looking very, very pleased to have a boat come in today.
Right then.
And Sylvette is like, anyway.
Thank you for your help. We'll take it from here.
They sort of take onto the ship, and you see that they're looking it over and making sure that like everything's tied in properly, and then you see one of them get like a basket with a big sheet in it and like cover the top of the boat so that if it rains or anything it doesn't get dirty.
My God.
These guys doing the most, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, like they take sea trade very seriously here in Firesse, like to take care of newcomers.
Of course.
So let's find ourselves somewhere to stay, I suppose.
Yes, where would you all like to stay?
I mean, the fondue place sounds fun.
Oh, you wanted to do that anyway, didn't you?
Yes,
So
and there's a lot of music.
let's do that then.
Okay.
A golden plume.
Sylvette lives just off Poets Plaza anyway, so it probably works out.
Oh, yes, that does work.
Sure.
Okay. Sylvette's like, I'll lead the way, I suppose.
I mean, you're from here, so it's probably the wisest thing.
And she just sort of rolls her eyes at Astra and starts walking. You hear her heels like clicking along the jetty as you make your way back to the shore and step off the wood onto cobbled streets. Beyond the docks, a wide river runs through Firesse, which splits into several misty canals, snaking between rows of quaint houses all along these cobblestone streets. In the heart of the town, Firesse is a warren of old squares with fountains, cobbled alleys lined with brightly frescoed shop fronts with colourful glass windows, the scent of ale and roasted chestnuts and sweet delicacies filling the air.
Oh, no.
Most of the buildings stretch no taller than 2 stories, save for one temple with twin grand white towers, topped with elaborate green domes. Flowers line the exterior of the wooden covered bridges that cross the canals, and every street seems to feature a cafe or a food stall or a boutique spilling out into the warm air, and live folk music seems to echo perpetually through the streets. Finally, on a slight incline from the main town, standing alone like a sentry, sits a beautiful Gothic limestone manor, which must be the home of the ailing late Lord von Kaiberg. As you walk through the streets, Sylvette keeps stride slightly ahead of you, ponytail swinging behind her as she walks with purpose towards nowhere in particular, until at a crossroads she has to stop to let a group of armoured men pass. You see 8 men in green tabards carrying short swords and bows. They seem to be in various states of health, some of their uniforms bloodied, faces bruised, 1 or 2 limping and all of them disheartened. The 4 at the back carry a makeshift stretcher with a body wrapped in cloth.
Oh my God.
At the front is their leader, a tall and broad-shouldered man with some orcish blood in him, or at least you can guess so by the 2 small tusks protruding from his lower lip and the point of his ears. Apart from that, he looks human, tan skin and short dark hair, wearing a fur mantle over leather armour that strains around his broad chest. He looks just as defeated as his men as they slope past, and you can overhear a few words exchanged between the men behind him. One of them's like, "Burn looks bad. Do you think he regrets this?" The other one, "He had to try, man. We couldn't have known that the stronghold was that well protected. But they were just using it as a hideout, not like a real fortress. I still say we should have gone to old Baldur first. He could have lent us some stuff that would have turned the tides in our favour, you know?" And they sort of slope off across the crossroads with Sylvette's arms crossed across her chest.
The Rangers, I presume.
Yeah, that was Captain Pierre Byrne at the front. Looks like he's got his tail between his legs.
What do they mean about Baldur? Have you heard that before?
Baldur. There is a shop in the square where the night market is called Baldur's Bazaar.
Okay.
I can only assume that they're referring to that.
What kind of place is it? What does it sell?
It's kind of a bit of everything. It's like the occasional magic trinket. Like, there's a lot of smiths around here, but you're more likely to find, say, enchanted arrows there and this sort.
It's like the place I got my sword in Lakeside.
But they think that if they had magic, then they'd probably do better doing it. That's good to know.
Maybe we should check that place out anyway.
Definitely.
Right, well, I'm heading home. I might as well show you where it is in case you need me. And then I can catch up with you whenever you're ready, when you've got a plan in mind.
Of course.
So that leads you to her home in the centre of Firesse. Her house on a side street is a white stone building, topped with a wooden gabled roof and russet painted shutters, the design of which looks pretty much common in the area. When you arrive, she says, "I'll be here if you need me," and turns to Cassian. "Don't get too far away. I'd hate for that thing to leave a permanent mark."
How far are we talking?
A mile?
How far away is the fortress?
Probably just at the edge of the mile. That's why you should come see me before you head off.
Okay.
Right. And Mikhail unlocks the door and carries her things inside, essentially. And you can hear as she heads in with Ingrid, just like, "The others should be down at the docks soon, then we can go down and get all of that done." And they sort of carry on talking business. You sort of glance inside to see a nice and decorated home, and then the door swings shut. You are left at the edge of Poets Plaza, a central square of Firesse with a view of the temple across the river. The wooden covered bridges in the area are decked out with hundreds of baskets of red and white flowers. And in the centre of the plaza there's a statue of a woman with flowers in her hair and a small fox at her feet. It looks like there's a plaque at the bottom.
What does it say?
Heading over, you can read it says, "Rosa Graf, Melora's Circle."
Cute.
Around you, you can see a few shops and eateries. There's Herzog's House of Bardery.
Hello.
The Golden Plume Tavern. There's Fabrizio's Fondue, as well as a handful of people strolling around the plaza. In one corner, you see a young-looking half-elf playing a violin, pausing between every few bars of the song to recite poetry. Flanking at the end of the bridge, you see two members of the Firesse Guard in simple black tunics watching idly, with the sort of casualness of people who've rarely had to do anything to protect their own. You see a beggar woman with a scarf wrapped around her head in a dirty purple dress, muttering to herself and walking up to some passers-by who sort of back away a little bit and change direction. And you're just left there, stood in the square.
It only took us like a couple of hours to get here from the morning?
Yes.
So it's still
like early in the day.
Oh, it's still like before midday, yeah.
Okay.
So sort of like 10 a.m. probably even.
So do we want to get a room and put our things down and then start asking around in town
That sounds good.
for information and such?
Yeah.
The Golden Plume.
While we are here, I insist on paying for everything. It is the least I can do.
If it'll make you feel better, go ahead.
It is the least I can do.
Okay.
The Golden Plume Tavern is just across the square from this statue. And
Head on in.
head up to the sort of like the half-timbered facade, like the long wooden beams on the outside, and then these windows, which are tiny little squares of iron, all of them with different coloured glass.
Oh, cute.
And you head inside, and everything is lavishly decorated in gold.
Oh.
It's It's not tacky as such, but it's very obvious that it's not gold. It's like the best shade of paint they could get that's closest
One look
to
from
it.
jeweler's eyes.
And they've really run with the gold, and they've really run with the plume. There are sort of like peacock feathers and all kinds of really fancy huge bird feathers sort of decorating everything around the fireplace, along the bar. But it doesn't, somehow it works. Like, you're looking at it and everything about it screams that it should be really tacky. But it's just the kind of like obscenely over decorated that it's kind of fun.
Cassian like gestures to one of the peacock feathers and is like, I once made an outfit out of a lot of these.
I bet that looks spectacular.
Oh yes.
You see proudly above the bar a peacock feather that looks about 3 foot long. It's like, and like maybe a foot wide as well.
Boy,
Huge.
like an oar of a boat.
Yeah, basically.
Boat
Like
feather.
hung above the bar. And behind it is a rather gruff and short looking, like, dwarf man. And he's just cleaning a glass and looks up, not used to people coming into the tavern at 10 a.m.
Hello, we're looking for a room for, if you know, room or rooms.
Rooms, why not?
Well, I can, 4 of you, I can probably do you a couple.
2, sure.
Sure, that's just, how many nights?
3 if we need more, we'll.
Alright, 3. Put it down for 30 silver.
Sure.
Can I get you anything else?
Would that include meals or
Breakfast.
breakfast? Okay, that's fine.
Great. Thank you.
Just arrived in town, have you?
Yes, we just got off the boat.
It's a lovely place.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, depends what you want to know, really.
Well, we've heard that your lord is sick at the moment and people are trying to vie for that.
Aye, that he is. He's been a good man, von Kaiberg.
Yeah?
He's been, well, his family have controlled Firesse for generations. And most people, myself included, will be sad to see him go.
Does he not have any heirs?
No family at all, never married.
What do you think about the people that are like vying for it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be one to gossip. Landenberg's done a great job as Kaiberg's advisor. He's always friendly, he's good to the people. He knows exactly what von Kaiberg was doing and he's got a strong head on him. I bet he could just keep it all as it is. What more can you really ask for?
So if it came down to a vote, he would have your vote.
Yeah, I mean, people say the town never prospered until Landenberg joined von Kaiberg's staff. So he's obviously done something right. And, you know, people aren't really all that open to change. It's comfortable to stay as it is.
True.
Besides, we don't want a strict regime here or anything. You know, that Lord DuPont over in Rysand, he's got quite a strict thing going on with his people there.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's probably not too harsh, but we're used to, you know, a certain kind of freedom. We're an artsy town. We like music, poetry, lively events. We don't want any of that, like...
Laws and regulations.
Yeah.
To the letter.
Exactly. Live and let live, you know.
And what about the fortress?
Well, that big old fortress. You know, the River Run has been smuggling in this area for decades, but it's only been in the last 3 years that smuggling operations have ramped up. And I think it's really... Von Kaiberg's health's been going down. And I think he's an older guy. I think he kind of lacked the mental clarity in the end to really do much about it.
Right.
Has it started causing a problem in the town, having them so close in proximity to you?
I heard that he threatened some of the farms and the businesses trying to get him to do business with him. The river runners, I mean. That old Ulfrin.
But he's not made any sort of move to invade or attack the town.
No, I mean, they're smugglers. I don't think they want control of the town. They just want people's goods for nothing.
Don't suppose you know how many of them there are up there?
Wouldn't have a clue. Avoid it as much as I can.
So-
They're not interested in taverns like mine, so I haven't really had any contact with them.
Enough to overwhelm the rangers, though.
We just saw them coming back.
Oh dear.
They looked worse for wear.
Well, he's a good man, that Captain Byrne. Protects the woods and the coastline and such. Don't think people would mind him if he'd done well enough to be in charge, but I don't think he's much of a trade honcho.
What direction are the woods in?
And he points you out towards it would be the west side of the town.
Okay.
I mean, there's woods everywhere, but there's there's nicer woods that way. There's logging woods the other way.
And have you ever... And do you know anything about the Sylvette Marion? Lady Marion?
Do I know anything about Sylvette Marion? I mean, rumour has it she works with the smugglers.
Does she now?
Lies.
Alright, well. I also heard that she was married to a farmer's daughter here a few years ago. And something went down between them. I don't really know what, but it's kind of sad what happened to that Stalingrad girl.
What happened?
Well, they divorced after the rumour came out, and Melissa drank some poison. Yeah. Oh. And I mean, Sylvette got what's coming for her. She was banned from Merchant's Guild here. And I heard that she does trade mostly outside of Firesse, but she still lives across the way.
Yes. Well, we've got it in good faith that the rumours that were spread were false.
Well, I don't know about these things, just what I've heard anyway.
Well, thank you for your information.
No problem.
We'll probably just go dump our bags and then go have a wander.
You should. Enjoy the town, it's nice.
It looks it, thank you.
He'll hand you 2 room keys. Tell you first and second door at the top of the stairs.
Go and inspect the room, see what we've got.
You head upstairs and open them up, and they are, for lack of any other word to describe them, fabulous. Sort of varnished wooden floors covered with fluffy, colourful rugs that look like they're like cowhide rugs that have been dyed. So it's one has blue and one has pink, and then there's huge furs over the beds and more golden accents sort of painted onto the wood, more feathers in vases.
Oh my god.
It's extravagant. Each room has a massive mirror with silver and gold etchings around the outside of it. This is fancy.
Tacky.
It is a little bit. Of course you do.
I don't think we've stayed anywhere so colourful.
No. Right, just pop our bags in and head off then. Cassian?
Yeah.
You alright? No. Actions and words have consequences, but I guess you've never had to face them before.
You don't have to say it.
Okay.
Hurts enough.
Come on, let's
We
go.
have a task. As he walks past Vanden, just go put a hand on Cassian's arm and just sort of nudge him along and keep it there supportively.
He's cool with that, but he's just a bit
Right, where are we going first, do you reckon?
Baldur.
Baldur.
Yes.
If he has reason to help and thinks that would help, Baldur.
Great.
And we should go talk to farmers.
Yes.
See what they're being threatened with. If they're pissed off, they might want to help. Shopkeepers. People who would have the reason to hate the river runners and the resources to
Help us.
Definitely.
Okay, let's go find this Baldur's Bazaar. You head back out into Poets Plaza with no idea where you're going or what you're doing.
Cassian's just going to walk over to someone who looks local and ask.
Probably walk up to easily one of the guards at the end of the bridge.
Yeah. Excuse me, where is Baldur's Bazaar?
Baldur's Bazaar, you're going to want Black Fox Market. If you cross the bridge, go 6 streets up that way, you'll find a black wooden archway. Head straight through.
Thank you. This way.
Off we go.
You cross this bridge. It's like not quite a soft curve, kind of made like almost a zigzag with the wood. It's got a sort of tiled roof over the top of it and then open sides the breeze blows through. And there's all of these flower baskets down the outside. On the inside, tied along, just like every inch of the bridge is covered in ribbons. And you notice as you're walking that the ribbons all have messages written onto them. You just sort of brush your hand along them and take a look. They all seem to be messages of love that people have written to their loved ones, to their family, to their partners, and they've just tied them onto the bridge.
It's the padlock bridge.
But not weighty in that.
Not weighty. That's really
And there's
soft.
just like ribbons of every colour and variation all the way down the inside of this bridge. And as you come out to the other side, you're in front of this huge white temple with these two towers and these big green onion-like domes at the top.
Onion!
Above the door, there's a symbol which is like half a cog.
Do any of us recognize this?
Make a religion check.
8.
15.
I would say that you know very clearly that this is the Temple of Arathis,
Oh yeah.
god of civilization and invention.
Kind of
Sarah, you'd recognise Arathis, but not really sure why or what it's about.
sort of cocks his head and is like, You'd think in such a creative town they'd worship Corainon, not Arathis.
It is a little odd.
A what?
Arathis is another one of the gods.
Civilization, invention.
It's like everything to do with cities and the future moving forwards.
Well, I suppose
Civilization.
it is a city.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know what you mean. It's pretty though. You turn and you head on up the streets as directed, a few blocks over, until you find this large, like 2-story with a tiled roof, and all of the wood has been painted black. And then there's this big black archway, and it's got carved into it little foxes that are sort of running up the archway and down the other side. There's a hanging sign that says Black Fox Market.
Okay. Look for the one that's... Is this what they said to go through?
Go through.
Okay, then go through.
You head through into an enclosed market square in east central Firesse. The stores here only open past noon and stay open until midnight, as you see like sort of noted in some of the windows, but some of them do have people moving around inside already. And the fact that it's small and surrounded by buildings on all sides means there's very little light in here. It's like a perfect square of buildings with all the shops facing in, 2 stories up, and then obviously the perfect square of roof. The fact that it's small and surrounded on all sides means there's very little light. The classic building facades of Firesse are lit up instead by lamps that glow orange, almost red, each of them illuminated by a ball of arcane energy. As you pass through the archway and get a glimpse of some of them close up, it looks like an illusion on the inside of the lamps of a sleeping, glowing pixie.
Cute. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my god.
They're sort of floating in the tempered glass orbs on the lanterns.
Aesthetic. So aesthetic.
You see inside here, Baldur's Bazaar. It has a simple sign above it that's been painted to say such. You see the Brook Inn, which is a small tavern with a black sign hanging outside that just says Brook. The Six Shields Armory and the Shorthorn Outfitters, which has big pair of cow horns outside and like a piece of fur on a sign shaped like a cow's face.
It is Camden.
Yeah.
And Baldur's Bazaar is on the corner of a residential building, the lower half of it plastered white, the upper half timbered, and the hand-painted sign above it. There's flowers hanging on the shop door, and the slogan is "The Chaste's Finest Enchanters."
Yes. Does it look open?
It doesn't look open, but there is someone moving around inside.
Okay.
The window is a little dusty, but as you glance in, you can see a dwarven man sort of moving around, caught through like glimpses of potion bottles and crystal balls, colourful clothing, antiques, what looks like a small animal cage. Sort of peering through this dusty window, trying to make anything out.
Truly looks bizarre.
Not that kind of... Never mind. A bazaar, not a bizarre.
Okay.
There's a very wobbly handwritten sign shoved onto the door that says "Open whenever."
Push inside.
It's not unlocked. It's not unlocked, but as you push inside, you see through the window the dwarf like,
Does the other side say, "Shut happens"?
It does now. The dwarf sort of hurries up to the door and unlocks it and gives you a big broad smile. You see a male dwarf, maybe in his 50s. He has long, straight, golden hair.
Oh!
And blue eyes, and stands about 4'5". He's wearing a robe of rich green fabric over a white shirt and green overalls.
Nice.
And the robe drags a little bit on the floor like it was made for someone taller than him.
Oh.
He's very, very friendly with like big rosy cheeks and perfect teeth. And he smiles at you and he's like, "Hello! I'm so pleased to see customers. Hello.
Hello.
We don't normally open this time of day, but please come on in."
We can come back if you're closed.
No, I'm not doing anything anyway. Come on in.
We'll head on in.
Yeah.
Ushers you into the shop, where inside you see a collection of various shelves selling everything from common magic items to knickknacks and home decor which clutters the walls. The spacious floor is filled with rugs, like piled one over the other, almost like a carpet, and tables with more books and items on. There is a cockatoo on a stand beside the counter, in addition to the small cage in which you see a white rabbit. The register looks homemade out of brass and copper. And the man sort of shuffles back up to the counter and tucks himself behind it, quite portly, leans on the counter. He comes up a little bit too high, again, like it's for someone taller than him. "What can I do for you?"
I would like to scratch the rabbit through the cage.
He comes up and like you see the little nose twitching as it sniffs your finger.
Well, really we're here because we want to help with the fortress.
Oh.
And we heard from the rangers that you potentially had goods that would assist with that.
I may well do, yeah. You see his sort of smiley face takes on a far more serious expression. There have been 2 instances now in which Alfred's men have come into my shop and tried to coerce me into aiding their operation.
That's awful.
They have not robbed you yet, or?
No force, just a lot of big words and trying to, manipulate me into thinking they can do stuff for me. But I've stood strong. That Alfred's very, very intimidating though. He's like twice my height.
Is there anything that you have that might be able to help us move them along?
I'm happy to help with any of the equipment that I have on sale. I haven't got much time right now because I'm trying to help my daughter.
Oh?
How so?
He looks delighted that you asked. It sort of goes from being like, well, I don't know whether you've heard if you're new around here. I assume you're new around here. I haven't seen you before. We have our annual cow parade.
No, I have heard about the cow parade.
You have?
I have.
Okay. It sounds silly, but it really is a wonderful community event.
No, it sounds wonderful.
My daughter Lillian, she had me put all this money aside to buy a calf earlier this year, specifically to enter it into the parade, because we've never been able to before. I mean, we're not farmers.
No cow, no parade.
Lillian's only 14 and the cow Daisy is her pride and joy. Lillian was making Daisy a costume for the parade, but one of the other girls in town picked on her and Lillian got so upset that she won't finish it. I'm desperate to see it finished to make her happy, but I am not someone who can really put together something that creative. So I've been looking around town. Everyone's busy with their own costumes and.
So, would you be willing to help us if this costume were to appear?
He goes from, like, looking really torn up about this to genuinely confused that you're offering. I mean, yes?
You see this?
Yes.
I am a tailor by profession.
Oh?
If you give me the fabric, I will finish this outfit.
Sir, this is one of the kindest things that anyone's ever said to me.
You tell no one that I made it. But I will do it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's so wonderful of you, sir. My name is Leaf Darkdraft.
You're not Baldur?
I am Baldur, but Mr. Darkdraft is fine.
Cassian Ravani.
Well, I can get you the fabric. Please, just feel free to look around, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Great. And he turns around and goes to like a little door that's almost buried in things hanging up at the back of the counter and disappears through it.
Cassian pats down his pockets and like looks for a little notebook or something and starts taking notes of just like, okay, theme, colours, blah blah blah, like ready to fucking 20 questions this guy when he comes back. He's got like a client book.
Okay.
This is wild.
I will take a wander around. and
Yeah,
just
we'll take a look
peruse.
around while we wait.
Browse.
Make a casual investigation check just to see what you find
A
in
chill
this
investigation check.
bizarre shop.
19.
9.
19. Okay.
Just wandering like, holy shit, this is great.
Oh, shiny.
Ooh. Okay. Astra, you come across some odd things. You find a scroll of the spell blindness. Some tinkerer's tools, what looks like lockpicks. You find some painter's supplies and a luxury bedroll. It's got a little label hanging off it saying luxury bedroll. It does actually give off a slight arcane hum.
Off the bedroll?
Yes.
How much is it?
It doesn't say on the label, we have to wait to ask him when he gets back.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Lush.
On top of that, you see average things like a hand axe, although it looks like it might be enchanted. You get the impression that a lot of things in here are enchanted. A flask of alchemist's fire. What looks like it must be a potion of healing, with a bottle with sort of golden liquid on the inside. Sariel, you find some far more interesting things. You find a +3 set of chainmail. You find a odd-looking stone that looks like a sort of pink rhomboid, and it gives off like a crazy arcane vibe. There's some enchanted hide armor, and then you see a kind of simple silver band ring that also has an arcane vibe to it, and seems to have sort of symbols carved onto the inside of the band that give the impression of changing appearance.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Before long, he sort of waddles back out with this armful of fabric, and he's like, okay,
Right.
this is what she's done so far.
Okay, what is the theme? What are we going for?
Bovine Pantheon. Bovine Pantheon.
Bovine Pantheon. And which of the gods is this one?
Calraylon.
Perfect. Couldn't be more fitting. You know, where I'm from, we have a festival to Caerleon every year.
That's wonderful.
It's beautiful. The streets get painted, lovely. Always take part. This, I'm sure, will be the crowning jewel of everything I've ever done for Caerleon.
Absolutely wonderful. And better than that, you're going to make a little girl happy.
Yes, of course.
He passes across this bundle of fabric.
Astra, back, please.
Yes! Calraylon! Opens the bag of holding. Just
Sit
let's.
in the bag of holding.
You see going in an unfinished costume, including a golden tunic with a blue cloak, like most depictions of Caerleon, a cream fur mantle, and a cowbell that Lillian has started painting the 8-pointed compass of Corellon onto quite poorly.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Leaf also hands over some materials to finish the costume that haven't been started yet, including a flimsy piece of metal for making a crown.
Okay. A cow crown.
A cow crown.
Cown.
And then
A
he
cow.
gives you a piece of paper with the cow's measurements.
Puts it with the notebook.
I'm not going to tell her until it's done.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Lovely. But in exchange,
Yes, of course I can help you. I will offer to you what I offered to Captain Burns' group that they weren't particularly interested in. Well, there's this, and he pulls out from under the counter a scroll.
Mhm.
This is a spell scroll of seeming. I don't know whether you know the spell.
Ooh.
do I know the spell? I mean, I know the spell, but...
Arcana check.
Oh, yeah, 23.
Yeah, you know the spell seeming allows you to change the appearance of any number of creatures that you see within range. You choose a new illusionary appearance for each of them. It's like disguise self for a group.
Uh-huh.
Tasty.
And it changes physical appearance, clothing, weapons, armor, but it doesn't stand up to touch.
Okay.
Just like disguise self.
Is it only an hour like disguise self, or...?
It lasts for 8 hours,
Wild.
and it's not a concentration spell.
Oh,
so
holy
it just
sh-
lasts.
And the scroll would be doing it for you?
Yes.
Oh, so we could... this would allow all of us to be disguised for 8 hours.
That's good.
That's impressive.
If we get a glimpse at what the people in the fortress look like at any time, we could just seem like reinforcements.
Oh, that's
Just
very good.
Walk straight in.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I was offering was 2 of these, and he pulls out 2 slightly larger glass vials that swirl on the inside with like raw magic.
Mhm.
He hands them out and says, "They're very volatile. Please be careful with them.
What are they?
These come from Erin. It's a very, very old design. The Rossi spell bombs."
I'm gonna cry.
What do they do?
Basically, they were designed by an ancestor of the champion, Varen, back in Erin, and they contain a spell on the inside, which, when cast by throwing the glass vial, casts with like an area of effect. So I have a couple of different ones. There's the spell Blight, Bestow Curse, or Elemental Bane. You can take 2.
2 of 3. And we can't convince you to lend all 3 to such a cause as this, especially considering you've been under threat as of local businesses, the farm, multiple farms.
I mean, they're worth about 250 gold pieces each.
But your and the rest of the town's livelihood,
Make a persuasion check.
I get advantage
Ooh.
because he's a dwarf.
Oh,
yeah, you
do!
Oh god. Oh, Sasha.
Oh,
Fuck.
26.
You can see he's quite endeared to you for offering to make this cow costume for his 14-year-old daughter.
Taking it very seriously
And
with
you-
my little notebook.
You did. You didn't laugh at it at all. And you do drive home a good point about the whole town. He's like, "I do have the recipe. I can make more." And he just puts all 3 on the counter.
Brilliant.
Be very, very careful with them. If they break, they'll just go off where they are.
Okay.
In good faith, we'll return for these once I have the costume.
That's a very good idea. Or just as soon as you need them. I will keep them under the counter, and if you find you need them before the costume is done, if you need them tomorrow, and
How many days until the cow festival?
2.
Plenty of time. It will be fine.
Thank you. And he will tuck them away. If there's anything else of interest to you here,
What's this?
oh, the luxury bedroll.
Yes.
Extra snuggly
Oh, it's one of those sort of mundane-ish enchanted items that's just really quite nice to have. To start with, it's extra comfortable. It's padded. Feels like sleeping on a real bed outside. I've only got the one of them. But it's got the power to give you a little bit of a boost after a good night's sleep.
What kind of a boost?
And I don't know how to say this in a way that isn't mechanical. You have a 10% chance of granting inspiration when you wake up.
Ooh. How much is it?
75 gold.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's wonderful, thank you.
No worries.
I'm going to have some amazing night's sleep on that thing, believe me.
Very exciting.
I've got one myself upstairs, more comfortable than my mattress.
70.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
75 gold, yeah?
Yeah.
Done deal.
Astra buys the glamping bed.
Yeah. The glamping inspiration bed.
Yeah.
Essentially, roll a d10 when you wake up from a long rest outside on the bedroll, and on a 10 you get inspiration.
Hell yeah!
You've got nothing to lose.
Literally.
Literally
Excellent.
nothing.
Hell yeah!
What's this? She'll point to the pinky purple rhombus crystal thing.
Oh. Well, that's a very, very rare item. Do you know the goddess Ioun?
Yes.
This is a stone of fortitude.
What does that
He explains in the best non-mechanical terms again. When you have the stone attuned to you, and you, as an action, allow it to float around and orbit your head, it increases your constitution score by 2.
Ooh.
It can be taken from you whilst it's in orbit if someone grabs it and makes the high enough roll. But as long as it's orbiting your head, you have a +2 to constitution.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And so there was the +3 armour, the enchanted hide armour, and sorry, what was the last thing?
A odd looking ring with little symbols on the inside.
And then, sorry, what was this? The ring?
Ah, now that, quite a unique item. I've never come across anything like it before. I don't really know what it's called, but I call it the Ring of Physical Fluidity. While wearing the ring, you can change physical aspects of your anatomy in any way that suits you. Basically, as an action, you can change aspects of your body as long as it remains within the possibility of your own race. So
Okay.
Astra could have a different shaped tail or horns, for example. Like Sariel, you could as an action be a man if you needed to get in somewhere.
Does that work for like physical statistics as well? So like say, like I want to have really buff arms. Like would that help your strength?
Give you a
or
stat boost.
anything? Okay.
But, like you'd have the muscles, but they'd have no
Okay.
different change to them.
Okay.
You can change like the length of your hair, for example, or the shape of your nose. You could be used very much as a disguise if you needed to. You cannot change the colour of any part of yourself. So Astra couldn't be a red tiefling if he wanted to, you know.
Okay.
And that does hold up to touch.
Yes, it's genuinely physical whilst you're attuned to the ring.
Huh.
And it doesn't run out anytime.
Dope.
That's cool.
Interesting. Well, there's these, and then there's these different sets of armour if anyone was looking to upgrade.
How much would the chainmail be?
The +3 chainmail is 18,000 gold pieces.
I don't think I've got that.
There is +1 hide armour for 90 gold.
I am interested in the hide armour, but I might come back for it.
Absolutely fine. Trust me, as an enchanter, items in your shop don't go very often. I'm sure it'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you for your assistance.
I will return the costume to you as soon as it is done.
I better get making some more spell bombs. He pulls out what looks like schematics from behind the counter and ties up this like waterfall of long, straight blonde hair into a little bun and gets some glasses out. You know where to find me if you need me. Live above the shop, don't I? So.
Your little camping bed.
Yes.
I'm very excited about this. Thank you.
We'll head back outside and back out into the sort of dim light of the square and then move back out into the bright light of the street.
Okay.
Well, that's one option of how to get in.
Very useful.
It's a very handy option.
I also, looking at the walls, I have that, I mean, you all bartered on those strange mystery potions, but I have the potion that lets you climb for an hour. One night's rest, I also have a spell that would allow me to do that to me or myself or anyone else.
Oh wow.
Have two of us being able to climb like monkeys.
Hold on tight, spider monkey.
And I can always fly up, so that's 3 of us.
Precisely.
Have someone distract out the front and then the others get in. Or 2 and 2, however we want to do it.
2 options right off the bat.
Good.
Still worth going to talk to people though.
Sure. We should learn as much about it as we can.
Where to? Farmers, other shops.
We should try the farmers. But are there any particular shops that we need to look into? Like, as if we come out, like, is there anything that stands out that might be helpful to us?
Not here in this area.
Okay.
There was just, I mean, most of them are closed anyway, besides the Bazaar.
Bazaar. It was implied that they were trying to coerce some of the shopkeepers, but we don't know which ones.
I'm just trying to think what else we might need to get into a fortress. I mean, it's not anything that I've done in practice before, but I have read plenty of accounts and practical texts on the sieging a fortress. We may need some further weaponry. We're talking about possibly breaking in doors here or stopping weapons they have that are hugely scaled up from anything we've seen before.
So you mean like expendable weaponry for breaking things down?
Yeah. A portable battering ram, for example, would be a common item to break down a fortress door.
Would somewhere like that, I know it's right next to a lake, but would it have like a well for its own water source or?
I think very unlikely.
Right, so
I
not
mean,
coming in from underground.
We can try and find out if the town has any records about this old fortress. Or maybe speak to like what it said on that scroll you showed off that you pinched off Sylvette's boat. There isn't, I believe, a smith's guild or something here.
Something like that, yes.
What is the idea in going into this fortress? Do we want to go in and take them all down, or do we want to drive them out, or just deal with Alfred and then maybe they'll all turn to our side? I don't know.
Good question. I'd rather not kill a bunch of people if we don't have to, but I am also concerned if we just drive them away.
They'll
They'll
come
just
back.
do
They'll just come back. Yeah.
I feel like maybe the best bet is cut off the head. Take out their leader and hope that it scrambles them.
And we don't necessarily have to kill Alfred. We
Just capture him.
Exactly. Turn him in to
The authorities here.
I could send Bramble just to have a look around and see what he can see from, like, through windows or...
Sure. It's quite a long way, but I guess we've got all day.
Yeah, he can just go off and come back whenever.
Great. That would really work out.
Alright, off you go then, Bramble. You'll turn invisible and just flutter off into the direction.
Okay. So it's about a mile away. He's probably going to be gone for quite a long time.
Yeah.
We'll come back to him late afternoon with some information.
So, one of the farms for now?
Sure.
Why not? It'd be nice to go get some country air.
I want to check out some of the shops in the square we're staying in too at some point.
I want to see if they have an art gallery, if there's time.
We can do that.
You wanted to get your fondue as well?
Yes, I do.
Maybe we'll do that for dinner.
I fondue.
I want cheese fondue so bad now.
I know, right? Even just thinking about it is like, fuck.
Chocolate fondue.
Okay. So heading out towards the farms. We head back towards the bridge, towards Poets Plaza.
As we're walking, Cassian is sketching outfits.
Outfits!
I'm gonna end you.
This is the best thing I've ever done as a DM.
He's taking this very seriously because there is no joy in him currently.
Got to make Cal Raylon perfect.
Yes.
In the bovine pantheon.
The bovine pantheon. This is his purpose. Carelon just like You dropped off of my worship ages ago. What are you doing?
Why are you making this outfit?
This is an insult.
Okay. You head back across the bridge with all of the ribbons. Back into Poets Plaza. You still see the bard with his poetry, although he seems to be sitting down and taking a lunch break now. You still see the beggar woman who sort of looks like she backed off into an alleyway now. And you do see the Herzog's House of Bardery shop.
Intrigue.
Intrigue. Okay.
As we're passing though, can I go and give the beggar woman a silver?
You go up towards her, and as soon as you approach, she like backs away and like ducks her head down, sort of eyeballs you and like backs away into the dock.
This is for you. I promise. Nothing. I'll put it on the floor for you, okay? Just put a silver on the floor and just back off then.
Shuffles forward and drags it towards herself with her foot, and then disappears back into the alleyway.
Bye. And then I'll move on.
Do you head to Herzog's House of Bardery?
Yes, please.
Astra, without words, just goes to a shop.
Where they go?
I just want to check this out real quick. We'll just be fast, okay?
Sure, we have all day.
Okay. You head towards the shop front of Herzog's House of Bardery. It's quite simple looking. It's been painted like a nice sort of turquoise blue colour on the outside. The top of it is still white with these sort of raw timber beams. And it's got this long strip of what looks like reclaimed wood that's been taken off a boat or something at the top. This says Herzog's House of Bardery. The curtains are drawn as you approach, but the door is got an open sign.
Have a look in.
Yes.
You pull the door open, and as you do, it had been silent from the outside. Just this flood of music comes out into the street from the inside, and you see this shop on the inside. It's got like perfectly waxed floors. Everything is glistening. There's little floating globules of light all around, and the walls have like curtains on them drawn open to reveal like beautiful instruments, all of them displayed with display cases underneath them with like new lute strings and tuning pegs and sheet music and all kinds. All of this is completely overwhelmed by the person behind the counter.
Good God.
You see, with a massive ruff of 3-foot peacock feathers
God.
and aarakocra,
Yes.
bright blue with these blue to green feathers with little purple and pink accents, wearing just loads of gold jewellery dripping around their neck, and like big puffy blue sleeves that have been made in a colour that kind of blends in to the feathers, a long coat, and like gold bands all up their wrists, gold rings dripping off their fingers, and sitting behind the counter strumming a blue lute with pink stripes painted up it.
God,
This huge peacock aarakocra.
I'm thinking of both the rooster from Robin Hood and the big parrot guy from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking of Taron Egerton as Elton John. Right, man. Just like in the car with like all the pink feathers everywhere.
His name is Jelton On.
Yeah!
Jelton On Herzog. He sits behind the counter, strumming, and is like, "Oh, you're right." Stops strumming for a moment. The music just seems to keep echoing through the shop, and then sort of glides to a close.
Jelton On, friend.
Hello, can I help you?
I just wanted to check out your shop. It
Strums again, and it sort of echoes out towards the street.
Our friend here is a very talented musician. He simply couldn't resist.
Stands up, and when he stands up, it's to his full height of like 7.5 feet.
Jesus Christ!
Sort of ruffles his feathers. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
and yours.
Name's Jelton.
Very hate you. Very Astra.
As you see, he's got these sort of golden feathers coming out of his forearms. He shakes your hand. What you play?
Lute and well, the pan flute and the lyre and the flute as well. Quite a few things.
That's impressive.
I feel like you could play anything that you picked up.
Maybe not everything, but
Does sound like it. Would you be interested in a little competition?
sure. What kind?
Musical competition.
Okay.
I'll play a few bars. You play a few bars. Get the door open to the street. See what people like better. And if you can beat me, you can take your pick.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Nice. It's a pleasure to meet a fellow musician.
Likewise.
And you see he picks off the counter a bracelet with bells on it, slides it over his hand, and comes strutting out from behind the counter. You can see now he's got golden bands around his ankles as well, and they jangle as he walks.
Nice.
Walks up to the door and throws it open and just shakes the bells on his wrist. And you see a couple of people on the square, like, look over. You see the guards at the bridge.
Hey, don't diss Crocodile Rock. I want to hear Honky Cat. I want to hear all the hits.
As soon as the bells jangle, the tavern keeper from next door at the Golden Plume comes out and is like, "Wait, I can't wait for this."
How often does Jelton do this, I wonder?
We have got a little competition on our hands.
Yes.
Do indeed.
Right. Grab a pew, and he just like drags some sort of crates out of the shop to make some seats outside.
We will sit and be an appreciative audience.
I'll run in quickly and grab my loot and come back out.
Right. Here goes.
Okay.
I'm gonna start. Play a few bars. Play whatever suits you. Sing if you want to.
I will.
Okay.
Lean over to Vanden quickly. Hold out the wand.
That is not a bad plan. Take out the wand of echo and just hold it towards the music. We might get in trouble for this.
Oh well.
And Jelton Herzog just strums the lute. The bells sort of twinkle as he does so. And then he starts strumming the first few bars of a song. It's really freaking good. Sort of the same music you heard from inside. And when he stops, he just turns to you and he's like, "Your turn!"
Okay. I will pick up exactly from the note that he left off on.
La 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 la. Make a performance check.
Oh god.
La 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 la.
So, with the way we're doing it, I get to add my proficiency bonus?
Yes, you're playing with the lute, so you get to add your proficiency bonus for the lute.
Yep.
Get it.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Please. Please.
Do you remember when Rock was young? Did you and Susie have so much fun?
Who's Susie? Oh my god, please.
God.
16.
16, okay. He's sort of bobbing his head along. It's sort of definitely safer, on the safer side, but it fits in perfectly with what he was playing.
And everyone within like 200 feet can hear it.
It booms out into the street like a concert. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, bringing it back," and just takes over again. He changes up the tune this time.
Okay.
You don't like it quite as much as the first one that he did.
Okay.
And after like maybe 30 seconds or so, he sort of turns the lute and points it at you like, "Du-du-du."
This time I'm going to cast Mantle of Majesty on myself.
Oh!
So a shimmer of magic will go through me and make me look like effervescent in the light.
Oh, a snail, effervescent.
As I pick up a little bit of a different tune.
Go on.
It's a 20.
Ooh.
A non-natural.
Okay, you can see that a crowd is now starting to gather. Like people who are coming across the bridge or in the next couple of streets over are coming through, and people are like sort of yelling and clapping their hands along with the music. They really look to be enjoying Astra's. And, you know, all in good humour, it looks like Jelton is also loving this. He waits for the right beat and just picks back up over the top of you and is like, "Yeah, this is refreshing. Haven't heard lute playing like this in so long."
Oh my god.
he does pretty well copying what you're doing, but it's evident that yours is significantly sort of more confident.
Go on, Astra.
Oh my God.
One last check.
Go on, Astra.
Okay, please. No! It's 11.
As you're sort of dueling back and forth now, you're losing it a little bit, watching this huge crowd gather, and you can see that he's got a lot of flair to him as a performer that you haven't really seen in any other sort of street musician or anything. He hops up, he's peacocking, he hops up onto one of the crates, ruffles his feathers, shakes the bells, and starts singing. But all in all,
I'll just back up music for a while.
yeah, all in all, he sort of stops and lets Astra take the final spotlight.
Go on, Astra.
And the crowd just goes crazy. The guards are just like, yeah.
Yay. My final roll was okay.
Shouting and cheering for Astra.
I got a 24 on my last.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, nice. As everything sort of winds down, he's just like, that was
Invigorating.
exhilarating. Oh, it has been an absolute pleasure to play with you, sir.
And with you.
I don't really care what the crowd votes. I'd say you're a winner. The crowd are like, woo!
I just enjoyed playing with you, honestly.
Me too. Give a bow to our wonderful audience today. Herzog's House of Bardery, come on in anytime.
Buy my bard things.
Great advertising. And he turns and he sort of ushers you back inside the shop. Right.
What's it gonna be, Astra?
Take your pick. Anything in the shop. Any one of the instruments. We have costumes for barding. We have, well, all sorts really.
I'm gonna take a little wander.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just take a little wander and have a look around.
Okay. You can find, I mean, it's a variety of instruments. They all look to be handmade, like with absolute love. Sort of sanded down, colours like worked into the grain of the wood. Beautiful etchings over them. You also find a rack of colourful performance clothing in all different styles, which doesn't quite look to be made by him, but he's got something similar to himself with the big puffy sleeves. He's got robes, he's got simple shirts that have bells embellished onto the sleeves. Up at the counter there is a simple sort of, it looks like half a quill with the end cut off and like the feathers at the top sort of spiked a little bit, and you realise it looks like a peacock feather that has been trimmed. You get up closer to it and it says musical scribe on a little piece of paper next to it.
And what's this?
Pleased with that one myself. Basically, if you're playing your music, look, if you look at this, he points you to one of the glass cases and you can see like sheets and sheets of music written down. You use this and you just, let me show you. Gets it out on a piece of parchment and sits it upright on the parchment. Start playing something.
Okay. Start playing one of my mother's songs.
And then he lets go of it. And standing upright, starts to write the sheet music of what you're playing. Write down all of the notes.
It's Sibelius software.
Yes. And it writes down your music so other people can learn it.
That's incredible.
It's lovely, isn't it? Does that take your fancy?
It does, but it seems rather expensive. I don't want to.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I've got a ton of them.
Alright, so it'll be a good reminder of you as well.
I will be absolutely honoured to be remembered by you.
Oh, Chelton.
Shelton!
Everything he says, he sort of flourishes his feathers a little bit. Your prize.
Thank you so much.
And I just only ask that anywhere you go, you spread the word to any travelling musicians of Herzog's House of Bardery.
We will, don't worry. I said like a liar.
And then we never did. Everywhere we go, please tell people where you got this from.
Oh yes, absolutely I will. They never told them.
No one asks.
No one asks.
When we get to the end of their adventure, they'll be like, here's a list of places.
Yeah, here's our Dawnbringers like source
Credit
list.
Dawnbringers approved shops.
Yeah.
Well then, if there's anything else I can do for you, otherwise you know where to find me.
You don't. Sorry to sour the mood. You don't happen to have any information that would be useful in the expulsion of the river runners at the fortress?
Oh, I don't know about me personally.
Or anyone else who would?
I would suggest you try the Smiths Guild up in the Corn Market,
Right.
North Firesse. They've got all sorts up there. Bet they could lend you some great armour, or the sort of weapons and tools that you need to breach castle walls.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Astra's gonna buy like some spare loop strings and like harp strings.
Let's say you can get like all the supplies you need for probably like 10 gold.
Yeah, sweet. Just so that if they break on the road, you don't have to be like, oh no!
I guess I can't play my lute anymore.
No.
Thank you very kindly for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
No doubt we'll see you around.
Oh. And you see him reach under the counter and pull out a small peacock feather. For you. Tucks it in your hair.
Aww. Thank you.
Don't ever forget me.
I won't. Charlton. As if we could.
Mwah!
He's the Rocket Man.
Puts on some shades.
What shape?
Pulls a feather boa around himself.
No. What shape are the sunglasses?
They're like the 3 little feathers sticking up out the side.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That concludes your trip to Hart's house and Baldur.
Oh my god, incredible.
When you step back out onto the street, the crowd is sort of dispersed now, and the guards have put the crates back. Well, that was an experience.
Didn't expect to be doing that today.
This town is very colourful.
That's the word.
So, where to next? The Merchants Guild or to the farmers?
I guess the farmers are out of town and the guild is in town.
So we could do in town today and out of town tomorrow.
That sounds good.
I mean, we've got plenty of time. It's not even midday yet. But you do have to work on the costume.
I only need to sleep 4 hours.
I suppose it doesn't need to be perfect.
It will.
It's your costume.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Sure. I don't half-ass things when I make them.
You certainly don't.
You can ask for directions and be pointed up the north road, essentially, towards the Smiths Guild, but also towards the farms. Apparently there's one long road leads out towards the farms.
One long road.
If we do the farms, we can do the Smiths Guild on the way back, or we can do it the other way around, whichever way.
Smith's Guild says we pass, why not?
Okay.
You find your way up fairly easily to Corn Market. This just sort of, unlike the Black Fox Market where you go into a little square, this is just like a plaza, sort of in the middle of the road. It houses several shops and the town hall around a cobbled square with a brass statue in the centre of it, of a man with pointed ears and an old-fashioned coat, holding a fishing net in one hand and a shallow pan in the other. It again has a plaque at the bottom.
From seed to pan.
But like a sort of pan with no handle. Like,
Oh, I thought you meant like a frying pan.
Yeah.
It's just like
Fried
ready to cook.
like a copper pan with holes in the bottom,
Right.
like sifting through.
Oh, there's gold in that there lake.
Oh, yeah.
You see the Smiths Guild headquarters, what must be a blacksmith shop called Koffler's Arms, a gift shop called Skylark Gifts, the statue, and this town hall. And as you approach it, you see the Smiths Guild headquarters with like a cut-out swinging battle axe sign at the front and a sword hanging over the door. It's a large rectangular limestone building with a clay roof. And yeah, it's got 2 large open doors. It looks like it's sort of a fairly public place.
We could probably check out the the town
The town hall.
hall, yes.
I expect so.
So we can do that while we're here as well.
See if anyone's able to help us.
Lots of people to ask.
Exactly. Should we do the guild first then?
Sure.
Okay. You head on in. Upon entering, you overhear two members of the guild discussing, where they're sort of leant against a table at the back of the main entrance room. Yeah. I don't see why all this quest nonsense has to go on anyway. Landenberg is the perfect candidate to take over the town. He's already basically running the place for the last few years. He knows his stuff. Firesse is prospering right now. Why would we want that shaken up by DuPont? That man looks to be in his 50s. He's a human, sort of greying beard, rough-looking face and hands. Looks like he's sort of worked probably a smithy his whole life. He's speaking to a younger half-elf who's like, I know, I think so too, but you can't say that. You know that Jean Weiss is coming here today. What if he hears something? He's gonna be pissed. And anyway, don't you want the river runners stopped? The first guy's like, oh, of course, but screw Weiss. I mean, he's a nice enough guy, but I swear on my life that he's hiding something. Family's always had way more money than you'd expect for a bunch of basket weavers.
Alright. Sounds like such an insult.
And
It does. Absolute basket weaver.
at this point, the half-elf sort of spots people coming in and is like, shush, shush. Well, can we help you?
Yes, we're here to learn about the occupation of the fortress by the river runners and any information on that and how we can help deal with it.
Oh, you here on behalf of someone?
Yes.
He sort of looks at his friend and he's like, you're not Weiss's men, are you?
No.
Well, glad to help. You know, the guilds kind of have their own thoughts on all of this business, but
Understandable.
actually we were kind of hoping that the heads of the guilds might actually get a say in who takes over our town. But, you know, being pissed about it doesn't mean anything. Can't stop a living will, I guess. I mean, surely traders should have a say in this sort of thing.
In a trade town, probably.
Thank you. It's good to hear someone speaking sense for once. As he says that, there is a scream and a loud clatter from somewhere at the back of the guild.
Running in that direction.
You look sort of behind yourselves and there are open doors into a courtyard. It seems to have come from the opposite end of the courtyard. As you run out, you see a gallery of armour and weaponry in another open room at the far end, and a disused forge, which sort of, you can see embers in it, and two suits of armour, a couple of weapons, and a table in the middle of the room, all dance through the air as if they've come to life. You can see a man cowering in the back corner of the room, bruised and bloody, as the sound of thunderous footsteps retreat somewhere through a back door. And he's like, looking around at these suits of armour and weapons like flying around the room. I would like you to roll initiative.
Oh, wait, what?
Astra.
17.
17. Cassian.
6.
Sariel.
21.
Okay. So you come up to the outside of this square room. It's maybe like 25 by 25 foot. At the back there is this large sort of 5 foot across forge with embers in it. A single door in the back left hand corner, and in the back right hand corner this man who is cowering and looking up at these floating suits of armour and weapons like, what the hell is this? You see floating around a sword, a halberd, 3 suits of armour, a large table, and what looks like a ballista. Like a large, usually floor-mounted bow and arrow. Sariel, you are up first.
Okay. I'll yell out to the guy first of all. Do these normally do this? Are these meant to do this?
No! No, they're not meant to move!
Okay. I'll run into the middle of them to try and get as many of these articles of furniture and weaponry as I can into a 15-foot cube.
Okay.
And Can they make a con save?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 of them. I'll roll a d8 and see how many you get. 6 of them. Cool.
Cool.
I'll say everything except one of the suits of armour.
Cool.
So a con save.
Yeah.
I guess they can. So the 2 weapons, that's going to be a 12 for the halberd, a 16 for the sword. I guess.
Oh God.
I guess it can't really get sick.
So the halberd succeeds. So 1 failure, 1 success.
Yep. A 4 for the ballista.
Fails.
A 4 for the table.
Fails.
A 12 for the first suit of armour. And a 2 for the second.
Okay, so
just
everything except the halberd fails. She will run into the middle of them, slam her foot onto the ground and cast Thunder Wave at 2nd level.
Nice.
On a failed save, the creature takes 3d8 thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet away from me.
Ooh.
14 points of thunder damage.
A successful one, they should get half damage.
Yeah,
and
so
not get
the halberd will take 7.
Okay. So everything else, from where you run into the centre of the room, like it's forced backwards against the wall. There's quite a clatter as the metal like hits the wall. But everything takes 14 points of thunder damage. You see the sword like bend a little bit. Some splinters fly off the table and there's like a dent in one of the suits of armour. And the guy's like, oh, I don't care, just help. Okay. Immediately, the sword.
Oh no, the wiggles.
No, not the sword, the halberd that didn't take all the damage.
Oh no.
Comes flying straight towards you.
Oh no.
But 13 is not going to hit.
Tis not.
So you see it coming and you're like, woo, duck, and duck, and it just sort of swipes over your head. The sword is then going to like rattle against the wall and come flying towards you as well. A 18.
Shield.
Okay.
So my armor class is now 19
Okay.
until my next turn.
Your magical shield comes up. You see the guy in the corner, anyone who's not currently trying to dodge a weapon, it's just like, oh, what? I've never seen anything like this before. And the bent sword just smacks into the shield and sort of falls a couple of feet. Astra. It's quite the tableau.
It is, isn't it? I'm just going to roll the guiding bolt at one of the suits of armours.
Okay.
Does a 22 to hit?
Yeah!
Nice. Yeah, that definitely hits.
4d6 damage.
I'll say it's the one that Sariel didn't get in the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Halberd.
Oh, nice. 16 radiant damage.
Nice.
And whoever hits that one next, it starts glowing with like a radiant aura, and whoever attacks that one next is going to get advantage on the attack.
Nice.
Brilliant. Are you doing anything else?
No.
Okay.
I will actually, I'll move over towards the guy that's in the corner and just sort of put myself between him and everything.
Perfect. You rush through, taking advantage of the fact that everything's pushed against a wall right now to slide through and put yourself in front of the poor guy on the ground. He's like, thank you!
That's okay, what happened?
There was a little man.
Oh no, not a little man.
Bernard.
There was a little man with big boots.
Bernard, that's a little man.
Okay, you don't have time to continue the conversation as a huge animated ballista turns itself towards you.
Oh no.
The bolt that's in it catches fire.
Oh!
No.
But that's a natural one. It flies just past you and lands in the disused forge, which lights up again. The guy's like, ah! You see, the guys that you were talking to outside had just stood there, like, basically shocked into not being able to do anything.
We've got this.
This is a lot.
Vanden's time.
This is a Tuesday for us.
We've never fought inanimate objects before.
Well,
Like Strahd, we almost got killed by a broom.
I did almost, like basically was knocked unconscious by a broom.
that was fine.
Vanden's just gonna be like, I can't believe I'm doing this, and Hunter's mark one of the animated suits of armour
Yes.
as he charges forward towards it with his magical longsword.
Get it.
Okay, he will take a swing.
Is it the one that is getting bolted or not?
Yeah, I might as well, seeing as you've used that. Thank God I did. It is just going to hit.
Oh.
And he takes a blow at that, so that's a D8 plus a D6.
Hunter's mark.
No, using 2 hands, it's D10. Okay, that is 10, 14 points of damage.
Oh, nice.
That suit of armour looks like it's falling apart at the seams, like the arms kind of dangle off it a bit too low for the arms, like where they shouldn't be.
Arms are going.
Okay, that's his first attack. I guess he'll take a second.
Get it.
Yeah.
His sword goes straight through one of the gaps in the armour. No! And you see the head of the armour like look down at itself and then back up at him. As you're sort of Cassian's still standing there looking at this tableau, you see the table go flying towards Vanden's head.
No!
Like behind him where he's not looking.
Duck!
He does. Just in time as you call out duck, he ducks down and the table goes flying over his head and rams into the opposite wall. He's like, I really don't like this. Cassian, it's your turn.
Fuck that table, man. 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Just like a large wooden plank table.
You get to slam Vanden.
London.
Oh god. Maths. 13 and 21.
21 hits, 13 does not. It has a natural armour.
9 points of force damage.
9 points of force damage. As your Eldritch Blast pursues straight after it as it slams into the wall and like splinters explode everywhere. The animated armour. One is going to turn on Sariel. Turns itself around like whoa! And marches towards her. He's going to try and slam her twice.
No! Come on, slam.
One of those is a 13, the other one's a 19.
19 hits.
Okay, the first one hits your shield and cracks it. The other one is going to do 3 points of bludgeoning damage. The second animated armour sees that you're in the corner in front of the cowering man. It's like dun 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 with like clatter with every inch of movement, and it's going to try and slam you twice.
I don't know how I feel about this.
That is a 13 and a 16.
16 hits.
Okay. For 7 points of bludgeoning damage, as it just slaps you across the face with a sort of animated gauntlet.
Can it make a save for me then, please?
Ooh!
Dex 14.
That's a 0 on Dex.
Astra.
It's an inanimate object.
11.
Great!
So it comes over and attacks Astra, who's like, it's just armour, isn't it? And then it hits him, and he just hellish rebukes back like, but not great. But it's 8 points of fire damage.
It does full damage, but you see that it just like, you know when fire hits metal and it just blackens it?
Yeah.
And just this shiny silver suit of armour just sort of blackens with smoke damage.
Like an ugly pot.
Yeah.
It's just, this is very uncomfortable.
The third one is going to try and slam Vanden twice.
Slammed him market.
Neither of which are going to hit him.
Nice.
He sort of parries with his long sword like, this is very strange.
He's just too fantastic.
Okay, back to the top of the round, Sariel.
Are there any of them like within 5 feet of each other?
I would say, well, the halberd and the sword came for you, so they're both like next to you.
Okay. Oh, next to me, or like I'm looking for some that are like grouped together, ideally. It doesn't have to be next to me necessarily.
There's the halberd, the sword, and the armour around you. The rest of them are spread out around the room.
Those 3 within 5 feet of each other?
Yes.
Okay, so she will throw an ice knife at 3rd level against one of them,
Nice.
whichever one is looking weakest.
The bent sword
Wobble.
looks very weak.
Oh no. That's a 7, but the ice knife will explode out onto the others. Can they make a dex save?
All 3 of them, yeah?
Yes, please.
There's 3 dex saves, a 14, a 2 and a 3.
The 2 and a 3 fail. The 14 will succeed. They will take 10 points of cold damage, and then the one who succeeded will take half, so 5.
Nice. Okay, the halberd, like, the frost like spreads over it and it just clatters to the floor.
Good. Nice.
As does the sword, the poor bent sword, took half damage but only had 3 hit points.
Nice.
This sad looking bent short sword just boom, 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 boom. And then the suit of armour will take 10, sorry.
Yeah.
But you see some frost sort of spreading over the metal, but it still looks okay.
Okay.
Those 2 enemies out of the game. Astra.
Okay, so we're like in a weaponsmith workshop right now. You said
Yes.
I'm next to a forge.
Yeah.
Perchance, is there anything like swords like next to me or anything?
No swords, there's a shield.
Okay.
This is probably like a big display shield like sat next to the forge.
Alright, great. I'll just pick up a shield to have it in my arm, like
Yeah, okay. You
big man.
have +2 to your armor class right now.
Fucking sick. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up this shield, swoop it up in my arms, and just looking around like no weapons or anything, I'll just be like, I've got to say you should have buffed your armor out a bit. You're looking very disgusting right now. And can you make me a Wiz 14 save for Vicious Mockery?
That is a 16 minus 4.
Nice. So not wise.
It looks at you like, oh.
Oh. So that's 6 damage.
That's psychic damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to have any effect.
I knew it!
Have to do
Try.
It's just cocked its helmet at you like, huh?
Well, that didn't work, did it? Unfortunate.
You confused it at least.
I mean, yes, but I also confused myself a bit with that one.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Magical ballista. Just manifests another bolt. For a natural 20. Oh my god.
Oh!
Okay.
Is it firing at Astra?
Apparently it's firing at Astra. Apparently you really pissed it off by insulting the suit of armour.
Oh god.
What'd you say about Kevin, mate? I'll have you.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
What?
That's 50 points of damage.
Oh my
As you're struck right in the chest by a flaming magical ballista bolt that just engulfs you in fire for a moment.
Astra!
Oh, you halve it because it's fire damage.
Oh, dude, don't
You
I?
halve it because you're a tiefling.
Get 25 hit points back.
God!
But it engulfs you entirely, singes your clothes and your hair a little bit, and then just like disappears again as this bolt is sticking out of Astra's armour.
How?
Astra?
How?
Alright, take that one down.
Vanden, now it's his turn, will swing again at the suit of armour in front of him. God, that's not gonna hit. And fuck it, risk the opportunity attack from the suit of armour. Which is gonna hit, so he will take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as he charges towards the ballista instead. And he's going to take his second bonus action, move the hunter's mark onto the ballista and brandish the sword, swing again at the ballista instead. That's an natural 20!
Hey! Revenge crit.
Make it splinters.
That's funny, mate.
Funny sights, funny sights.
You, this will be a small encounter. You, nat 20.
Oh. He charges up to it and just smashes straight through it with the longsword. Like the pieces of wood just splinter everywhere.
Nice.
And it stops.
Revenge.
He's like, got it!
Great.
Okay. The animated table. It's engaged with Cassian.
Nah, what?
Because you hit it with your Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so it's coming for me now.
Yeah, it turns and it's like,
How do we know which way's the front?
God! It's gonna fight towards you and try and ram you.
Uh-oh.
For 11.
No.
It's coming quite slowly towards you and you can just like lean down.
Steps underneath it.
It's your turn.
So what's left? There's the table, all 3 suits of armour.
Yeah. All 3 suits of armour look very rough.
Okay.
The table's looking a little bit better, but it's a table, so you can't really tell.
I will shoot one at the armour that Vanden's just abandoned, and one at the armour on Sariel.
Yep.
So, for the one by itself, 16.
Doesn't hit.
The one on Sariel, less.
Ooh. They both just go wide. You're trying desperately not to hit so many things that are going on in this room, and both of them go wide.
Cool.
Oof. Okay, there is the animated armor on Sariel, which will come on and slam.
Come on and slam.
That is a 16 and a 3.
16 hits.
For another 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
There is the one that Astra tried to vicious mockery.
Deeply offended.
Neither of them hit with 11.
No.
And there is the one that Vanden ran past, who's going to turn around and let's see who he goes for. Oh, back to Vanden. Tries to slam. One of those is going to hit. For another 8 points of bludgeoning damage. He charges up behind him and dun, where he's just run away from it. I'm coming for you. Sariel.
She's gonna try and primal savagery the one closest to her.
Nice.
I saved.
Oh, 21.
21
Nice.
hits.
Nice.
Delicious D10s.
I love D10s. Especially when they roll 5. 5 points of acid
It
damage.
goes down.
Hey!
Nice.
As you swipes
Yeah,
across it.
rake your claws across it and you leave these like burning lines of acid through the metal and it just clatters to the floor. Keep going, Sariel. Keep going. You see the guy in the corner is now sort of like weeping into his hands, having seen Astra engulfed in flame. God. Astra, it's your turn.
This is fine. A word of radiance from myself. Can it make a con 12 save for me, please?
I expect it probably can't. No.
Great.
Get it.
6.
Nice. That's a 9 radiant damage then.
It goes down.
Lovely.
Great. So this burst of radiant light just from Astra just exudes out around him, engulfs this thing and just
Clatter on the floor.
bonus action. I'm just gonna like remove this fucking barrier.
Yeah, free action, you can pull it out of your armour.
Ouch.
It looked like it was stuck right in your chest, but you got your armour underneath your top,
Yeah.
so it was like wedged into the leather.
Bad.
Okay, Lister's down, Vanden's turn.
Wait.
He's gonna turn around to this damn suit of armour behind him, move his hunter's mark back to it, and take 2 swipes. Or 1 swipe, I guess, because the first one is probably gonna take it down. Yeah, it gone.
It gone.
Okay, runs over to the table, the last thing standing. Blanks it with you?
Come on, let's slice and dice.
Whenever we're sat opposite each other at dinner now, I'm just gonna be like, we're flanking.
Oh, cool. 10 damage. It looks pretty rough.
Okay.
It's the table's turn. So to try 1 slam on you and 1 on...
Just wiggles between us.
Oh no, so you got 1 attack. So try 1 slam on Vanden for just hurting it.
Slammed him.
It's when you really want to get out from behind the table, but you need to move it.
It misses.
Oh.
He sort of steps aside. It's Cassian's turn.
Oh my god.
He just pulls out his sword and just booming blade takes an advantage swipe at it. Come on. With my sword. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 definitely.
Nice.
Yep, so.
It doesn't hit.
5 slashing, 5 thunder.
It goes down, you have the floor.
Oh my god.
It was a nice table, now it is 2 tables.
Cassian brings his sword down, carves through the middle of the table, the 2 halves just thud.
Nods at Vanden on the other side of it, like, good to see you again.
Good job. And then the two men outside who are completely dumbstruck, and the man in the corner who is crying, sort of. Is it over?
Here's a song to get to know about me. I'll start with my name, my age, my height, my gender identity, and my favorite game. This is where I live now, and this is where I'm from. Here's what I do for work, and what I hope to become. Here's a guilty pleasure and a pet peeve, and something I like, a goal that I hope one day to achieve. And can I ride a bike? My favorite place I've been to, and a place I wanna go. My favorite time of year, and my favorite TV show. Here's a random fact you might not guess. Surprise! A thing that brings me joy and brings me stress. I really try to avoid that. I have this many siblings, that's the size of my shoe. And I hope you'll use this song to let everybody get to know you.
Hey yo, Dungeons and Dragons check.
It's TNT, TNT Beyond, yeah, TNT, TNT Beyond.
And then the two men outside who are completely dumbstruck, and the man in the corner who is crying, sort of. Is it over?
Well, we haven't found the little man who did it yet.
Sarah's gonna run out to the back door to try and see the little man.
You run out to the back door, make a perception check.
For the little man
Nasty little man!
with big boots.
Oh, natural 20, 25.
Nice. You peer out into the streets, and you see, like, basically it's like a long corridor with another door open at the end, and you can just see in the distance something maybe like young halfling sized, like weaving through the crowds.
He's still here, come on!
As Sariel shouts to come on and pursue the little man, the guy in the corner is like, he took my prize axe. If you can get it back, I'll have a reward for you.
Great, that's what we came here for, more or less. Let's go.
Okay. Vanden just sort of shrugs at Astra, sure. Okay.
We're pursuing
Dash,
Little man.
dash.
You run out into the streets again. You see that it's headed up the road, out of the town. And it's maybe like 120 feet ahead of you. You can just see like just a tiny figure ducking through the legs of people, and then disappears into a field of wheat.
Theresa May, come back!
For a few moments, you see the wheat sheaves like rustling, and then the movement becomes slower, and then the field stills. You find yourself on the western approach road to Firesse.
Right.
It winds through flat farmland here, which stretches as far as you can see either side of you. lush fields full of golden wheat, green grass, dotted in the distance with brown and white dairy cows, a distant windmill, some farm buildings scattered, a small vine-covered wooden cottage in the distance with white smoke rising from the chimney, and beyond that, an ocean of forest with the proud points of the pines dotted between the orange and gold leaves that are turning for the season.
I vote we spread out and converge on the little man.
Yes. We all saw the little man now, yeah?
You saw the back of the head of something little,
Okay.
about the size of like a young halfling,
Okay.
maybe like 2.5 foot tall, was wearing a red hat, and its footsteps were loud.
Looking
they've
for
stopped
a red
now.
hat.
They've stopped, and
Okay.
the wheat looks like it stopped moving.
Okay, quietly
Spread
moving
out.
slightly separately through the sheaves of wheat.
You're moving into the wheat field.
Yes.
Okay. You climb like over the wooden fence into the wheat, and you find if you're gonna try and move through the wheat, you're gonna have to break it.
I'm going to point into the wheat field to where I just saw the thing stop, like, and just send the message cantrip out. And
Okay.
just, if you know what's good for you, you should probably come on back. And just see if it latches onto this creature.
Okay. You just hear back in your head.
Don't laugh at me. Just turn around and return the axe. That's not yours, you didn't pay for it, and you've caused... Don't laugh at me, and you've caused a hullabaloo, so come on back.
You see the wheat sheaves start shuffling again, quite violently, towards you.
Okay.
And then they turn and they start moving up the road.
Oh, I said come back.
I'm just gonna start
Following
going like
it, following
parallel.
Yeah, running up the road
I
parallel.
want to break this wheat.
No.
It just keeps laughing at me.
I'm sure this is all very funny for it.
About 20 feet ahead of you, the wheat suddenly stops moving again. And then, bursting out of it, without an axe, you see what looks like a very small, tough, elderly-looking human man or undersized gnome. Stands about 2.5 foot tall. He's got a hunched back and like wiry muscles, leathery-looking skin, and a really evil smile filled with wickedly sharp, protruding teeth. On top of its head is this bright red leather pointed cap, and on its feet, heavy iron boots. And it's looking at all of you.
Hello.
Right, where's the axe? That's not yours.
Here's Astra's voice, and starts lunging towards him. I would like you to roll initiative.
Oh, okay. I really pissed him off, huh? Guess so.
Okay, Astra.
15.
Cassian.
10.
Sariel.
22.
Of course.
Sariel, this small creature, like this white, wiry moustache and little beard on its chin and this angry face, mouthful of sharp teeth, goes charging towards Astra, but you move faster. You're up first.
She will wild shape as her bonus action into a saber-toothed tiger.
Fuck yeah.
Just start running forward and like mid run lunge into this tiger form, and she will pounce it.
Okay.
So if the tiger moves at least 20 feet straight towards a creature, then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, the target must succeed a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. So I guess she will go to swipe it with a claw attack and then try to knock it prone at the same time.
Roll to attack.
25.
25 definitely hits.
Cool.
So it needs to make a strength save.
Yes, that's DC 14.
That's a natural one.
Cool, so it is not prone, and it will take 12 points of slashing damage. It'll sort of dig
Okay.
claws into it and just sort of stand on top of it.
It's not restrained, but it is pinned.
Pinned
Do
it.
anything else?
That's all I can do.
Okay, Astra. Sariel has landed on this thing as a saber-toothed tiger and has it pinned down.
Just gonna duck down a little bit, like I didn't mean to offend you. I just wanted to stop you from stealing.
It looks at you with these cold, hungry, like bloodlust-filled eyes.
You.
Awful.
Like beady little eyes with slitted pupils straight back at you. It looks like it wants to take a bite out of Sariel's leg.
It can try. My teeth are bigger.
Like this. Listen here, you. You need to get in line right now because you're not being very nice to the people around you. Can it make a Whiz 14 save for me?
10.
Great. I got a vicious mockery. Oh my god.
Oh, vicious.
Oh, I've got 2 4s on my d4s.
Nice.
So 8. 8 psychic damage.
It sort of rides underneath Sariel's foot and it's like,
Can I bonus action, like, put a stick in its mouth or something to stop it from biting?
you can certainly put a stick in its open mouth.
Great.
You just grab a nearby stick off the
Just grab a
ground.
stick and just sort of
Put it in its
put it
mouth.
between its teeth so it can't, like, just bite down on Sariel.
It closes its teeth around the stick and just completely decimates it. And spits it out. Hey! And says, fuck you, in Sylvan.
Fey fucker!
Cassian. Ha!
In Sylvan, then, I will start talking to this thing.
Okay. As you do, as you reach the end of your turn, another one of them bursting out of
Two
the
of
wheat
them.
Two of
behind you with the big axe.
Hello, hello, hello.
The second one comes charging towards the nearest person. Is it Cassian or Vanden? Odd, even. It's a 2. Comes charging towards Vanden. It brandishes this huge axe and just swings it at him.
Ooh.
That's gonna hit. It just strikes him across the back with this massive double-bladed axe, and he lets out a scream of pain.
Ooh.
That's good. Okay. So Cassian, you see him stumble forwards with his axe like sticking out of his armor. That's its first attack.
God.
For the second one, it is going to kick at Cassian with its iron feeties.
Rude.
Boots.
Booties.
Can you make a dex save?
I'm concerned. Try.
Little booties.
What are my dex? 15?
15, you make it.
Okay.
You just dodge out the way as it swings one of
Ah.
those heavy iron boots towards you, and you can see by like the weight of its movement that these boots weigh a lot. It would have been like being hit with a brick.
Oof.
Cassian, it's your turn.
He's gonna shuffle round so that him and Vanden are considered flanking with his bonus action, Shadow Blade, and is gonna take an advantage swing at this thing.
The one
Like,
with the axe or the other one?
the one with the axe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the other one's pinned. Yeah.
Yeah, with Sariel and Astra. It's like, I don't think so. 19.
19 hits.
4. 12 points of psychic damage as it
Okay.
goes through it.
12 points of psychic damage just swipes through it, and you see it sort of stiffen up for a moment. Are you doing anything else?
No, that's my action on my bonus action.
Okay. The one under Sariel is going to do what it can and just try and kick upwards towards the saber-toothed tiger.
Towards your primordial pouch.
No, your primordial pouch!
I guess, can you make a dex save?
I can certainly try. No, dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay, you make it. You manage to just sort of like shift your body
Shift.
out of the way of this boot as it flails around on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, Vanden's turn. He's going to, with this axe, like, left like a deep dent in his armour that must be cutting into his back.
Oof.
Turns around with his longsword. It's like, screw this stupid little thing. And he's just going to swing at it twice at advantage.
Good.
Get it.
The first one's going to hit. Second one's going to hit.
Nice.
Nice.
Get it.
2d10. Back.
2d10.
Ooh. No, 7, 14, 21 damage.
Nice.
We try not to kill the locals.
I don't think it's a local Astra. That's the jump around Sariel. I think you have advantage on it because it's prone if you're going to attack it.
Yeah, it says if the target is prone, the tiger can make one bite attack against it as a bonus action. So,
Okay. So
can I do claw
and
then bite?
Mhm.
At advantage?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's prone.
Delicious.
Lovely. So claw attack first as the action. That's a 24 to hit.
Yep.
10 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And then
Starting to look pretty rough.
bite attack bonus action. Another 24 to hit.
That definitely hits.
That is a d10 plus 5. Oh, nice. 15 points of piercing damage.
15 hit points.
Oh!
I just chomped down on this thing.
His saber teeth just go through the middle of the
It wanted to bite you, you bit it first.
Team the bigger.
That's the end of that little fey man. Yeah, it just chomps it through it and it just stops moving.
Astra is shook.
Chomp.
Astra, it's your turn.
Just to the one with, oh my god. And he's like, oh, minute, I just saw something get eaten.
That's nature.
The other one sure did put a huge axe in Vanden's back.
It's true, it's true. Okay, gonna go over to towards these two with the one that's still alive and just be like, avoid looking at the other one. And in Sylvan just, why did you steal the axe?
It just looks up at you with this sort of crazy bloodlust in its eyes. Want it? Is that all you're gonna do?
They said they took it just because they wanted it. And then healing word, Vanden.
Okay.
Oh, 9 plus 12, so it's 12 hit points back for Vanden.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, that's a third level. And yeah, that you two can finish that off.
This one here is going to swing the axe once towards Vanden, once towards Cassian. So towards Vanden, towards Cassian. No, a 12 and a 14. Neither of them get hit. Cassian, it's your turn.
Will flourish the shadow blade in his hand, booming blade on it, and then take an extra hard swing. Swang. 24.
24 definitely hits.
It is 14 points of psychic damage
It's down.
and a further 4 of thunder.
It just like booms over it, and it just crumples down and boom onto its side. The axe clatters on the road. And Vanden's like,
We need to get the armor off you.
please,
See to that wound.
come on. Let's start stripping his coat off.
Astra will help, like, assist with the armor
Just
off.
remove the armor. You can see it's dented heavily inwards.
Hey, at least we're in the right time to get that repaired, but first you.
What are they?
Um,
You see they're slowly starting to dissolve.
Fey folk.
Fey folk, just, I guess, looking over them as they're dissolving. Any sort of
Make a
Fey.
nature check if you want to know what they are.
Yeah, I will. Like, my mum probably told me stories of these creatures.
12.
19.
14.
I would say Astra and Cassian. Cassian, I imagine you've read a story about creatures like this, perhaps, or seen a play about fey creatures. Like, yeah, maybe seen a play not dissimilar to Midsummer's Night Dream.
Oh my god!
In which you have both heard of red caps.
Red caps.
Considered evil fey creatures from the darker of the two fey courts. These creatures are murderous with an insatiable bloodlust.
Should have recognized it from the hat. They were in an opera once.
Oh!
Not people playing them were in an opera.
Right, I was going to say, my mum
They're-
used to tell me that they're not very nice.
They're essentially fey with a bloodlust.
Yes.
Yeah, vicious and cruel and completely insane. They dip their leather caps in the blood of their fallen foes, and that's why they're stained red. You would also know that they don't tend to work with other red caps. It's typically only one.
It's strange they'd be working together.
As Astra's helping Vanden get the armour off, just going to pat on her shoulder, and Vanden's going to get back 20 hit points from a cure wounds level
Thank
4.
you very much. He is back to full health.
Nice.
No worries. Just make sure you keep yourself.
Yeah. Yes, shove the armour in the bag.
Yes, we can do that.
I will take Vanden's armour off.
Sariel will lose the tiger. Wipe blood off her mouth.
Very good.
Everyone okay?
Yeah. Fancy battle axe. Staring down at this thing, and it has like runes carved into the blade itself.
Any flavour of what it might do.
Like arcane runes or like.
Make an arcana check.
I will assist you.
Thanks. 14?
14. You don't know exactly what the axe does, just looking at the runes, but you see runes worked into there which you know to pertain to giants.
Oh,
And it's definitely got an arcane property to it. It's a magic weapon.
something to do with giants.
I can see why it would be valuable.
I think the cabs just wanted it, though. That's what they said.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're just chaotic creatures of bloodlust. You see a big mean axe.
weird though.
Especially where, like I said, there are a pair of them. They're normally solitary creatures. And also, why are they here?
Yeah, fey creatures don't typically just show up places, do
They're
they?
fading back to the Fey realm. So,
Is there a gate to the Feywild anywhere near here, maybe?
Last one we found was in those woods before Valathra.
Oh, hold on a second. Astra is going to pull out his lantern of tracking.
Oh, nice. Like in a fey tracking.
And just light it up for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And if any creature of Fey type is within 300 feet, the lantern will turn bright green.
Okay. I would say there's like a slight green shimmer for a moment, and then it just fades away.
As their bodies disappear, or
The bodies are gone. It's almost like a sort of slight interaction, and then it's gone.
Maybe it's out of the range.
there was something around here. Maybe a third one.
who's to say?
Let's keep an eye out.
How we've sort of gone in towards the farmland now.
You're still on the road, like
Okay.
a long sort of.
But we're not closer to the farm, so it's probably easier to go back and return the axe first.
You move quite a long way down. I
Okay.
mean, you're probably not that far from the farm, sort of half a mile's walk in each direction.
Seeing as we've already come this way, should we go to the farm and drop the axe off on our way back?
Sure, why not?
You can just put it in the bag. I mean, whatever we get
Exactly.
in there.
I will keep the lantern out and just keep an eye on it as we're walking towards the farm then.
Sure. As you're walking, the sky is cold and blue with the odd cloud, the wind dancing through your hair, almost magically, the way it just sort of picks and lifts. It's sort of blowing the autumn leaves down the road. A few other people mill up and down this road, like in the distance, having not seen the debacle that just happened. Mostly looking like they're heading towards either working in the farm fields or towards the town. But you make your way down until you find a path that turns in towards the farmhouse, and then you walk down the mud track and approach the farmhouse itself. Outside you see a farmer sat sort of on an upturned barrel. He looks kind of middle-aged, a rugged looking adult half-elf with black hair and green eyes, who's tired and weary and looks a little jumpy to see people coming up to the farm.
Hello.
Hello?
Sorry to disturb you.
That's okay. What can I do for you?
We heard about the river runners.
Not from them.
No, we're here to stop them.
Make an insight check.
7.
15.
9.
I say 50 and Sariel, you recognise like a flash of like straight up fear in this man's eyes when you mention the River Runners.
It's alright. We want to stop them.
He definitely hasn't sent you.
No.
No.
We want to find out as much as we can about them so that we have a best possible chance.
We heard they were threatening farmers and wanted to see what information you could give.
Right. Well, sort of looks around himself up and down the road. I've been expecting some of his men to show up.
Today?
Yeah.
What for? To collect or?
He looks kind of ashamed. Yeah. For the past 6 months, they've been demanding a portion of my crop. So I send in a cart to their stronghold when their men come pick it up. It's either today or tomorrow they're going to come, but they always make me nervous.
Interesting.
What have they said that they'll do if you don't give them your crop?
Any number of things. Spread a bad word. Get aggressive. Damage my farm.
How thorough are they checking over the cart that you offered them?
I mean, maybe they take a look under the sheet, but I've been doing this for 6 months now. They don't tend to inspect.
They sort of take it on good faith that you're giving it to them now.
I've never done anything wrong to them.
Okay,
That's interesting.
that's very interesting. If they... If they come tomorrow, we could go instead.
In the cart?
In the cart.
Trying to find a way to get in so that we can clear them out.
Sounds like a death mission if you're going to sneak into that fortress.
Do you know how many of them there are?
Maybe 24 or more.
And what are they armed with?
Some of them swords and spears. I've seen 1 or 2 with guns.
Any with magic?
Not that I've witnessed, but I've never been there.
Would you let us do that?
Thing is, if they caught me, I think that'd be the end of me.
We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
We could intercept and incapacitate those coming to collect. Use the scroll from our dwarven friend
Right.
and appear as
As those
Them.
people.
them. The exact people.
How many of them normally come?
3 or 4.
Perfect.
Even if it's just 3,
One person goes under the cart.
We can do this. And then it wouldn't reflect back on you at all.
I don't know about you. I don't know about this.
What's your name?
Friends Stalingrad.
It's alright, friends. We want to help you.
Feels like everything's against me in this farm these days.
What else is against you?
Inherited it from my old dad recently. And see that wood over there? He gestures towards the forest at the end of the road. Full of bloody bohemians.
What?
It's my land, but they've taken up situ on it and they won't leave. Farm's not doing well because of the river runners. I want to turn that into more farmland and see if I can't make some money back. Damn it. First my sister, then my old dad, and now it's just me in this damn farm.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
I don't know, maybe you can run them off my land or something.
And if we did that, would you trust us?
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a far simpler thing than sieging a fortress. I don't want to send you off on a mission that's going to kill you.
That's fair enough.
Couldn't have a black mark like that on my name.
Well, where do we find them? Just in those forests?
In the woods.
You've not had any trouble with Fey folk recently? That you're aware of, or...?
There have been a couple, yeah.
Right.
I bet it's them in the woods.
It's worth checking out.
Sure.
Just little creatures running around my farm.
Red hats.
I think now you mention it, I think I've seen a red hat or do.
Well, you don't have to worry about some of them.
Well, if you could do that for me, I'd owe you such a debt of gratitude.
Of course.
We can have a look, definitely. I'm Vanden Astra, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Astra.
Sariel.
Sort of greets all of you and gives Astra an odd look. Anyway, off my farm, come on.
Sure.
I've got work to do.
We'll see what we can do for you.
Head up into the forest, I suppose.
Gives Astra one more weird look before he turns around and goes back inside his farmhouse.
Is there a problem?
No.
Okay. We'll be back soon.
Glad to hear it. Closed the door behind him. Well, that was weird.
Uncomfortable man.
Probably not used to tieflings around here.
Or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if he's dealing with the strange non-Fey folk, he probably doesn't know what to make of you.
Right, so let's just have a look in the woods we've done. See what we can do.
Yeah, this is like a crazy wild goose chase.
I'm just doing errands for everyone at this point.
It's like, are we getting anywhere? No, the cart idea is great if we can convince him.
Sure is. I'm going to lift up my lamp as well and just have a look, see if it's getting brighter or not whilst we're going towards the forest.
Nothing happens.
Okay. So it lasts for 6 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. You head out back towards the road. The road is quiet now, as whoever was milling up and down it has headed into the fields or back towards the town. And the four of you make your way further up the road with the woods on the left and this small wooden cottage on the right. It's pretty quiet, bird song in the air, just the occasional distant sound of something from back at the town. Until the silence is broken by the heavy sound of hooves and wheels from up ahead of you. A stagecoach comes racing around the corner of the winding road far faster than it should. Time seems to slow as you see a small dog come running out of the cottage into the road.
Oh.
And behind it, a young child, a flash of teal catching your eye as the kid rushes out after the dog without seeing the stagecoach, right into its path.
Misty step to grab and retrieve.
Okay. I say everyone roll initiative, just get an action order. Astra?
18.
Sariel?
25.
Cassian?
16.
Okay. Stay in that order. Sariel,
Yeah.
anything you're doing?
Yeah, same thing. Misty step to run and grab.
You misty step forwards. There's still about another 20 feet ahead of you if you want to start running towards it.
Yeah, that's a bonus action, so I guess dash.
Just start dashing. Astra, in quick succession, is there anything you're doing?
I'm just running and dashing.
And Cassian, you two just misty step
movement dash. 90 feet.
Okay. Let's say Vanden will also just take off down the road, but you two just get 30 feet ahead and charge forwards. And I say you can probably do at the same time, like grab your arms around the child
And the dog.
and the dog and pull them both out of the way. As this stagecoach, like Astra and Vanden have to step aside as it just careens towards the town, paying no attention to people in the road.
As it comes by me, I'm going to guiding bolt the front wheels.
Oh, okay. Roll an attack.
Yo! That's a 17.
17.
Oh,
the guiding bolt strikes the wheels, and you see one of the wheels just come flying off the stagecoach, and it starts to rock on the road, and you see it's forced to slow down. It doesn't stop.
As long as it slowed the fuck down.
Oh, Astra, could have caused an accident.
So could he.
Have you got the
Cassian.
dog or the kid?
Which one of you grabbed?
I-
You got there first.
I don't know. Like rolling on an even. Odd for child. And
Okay. Odd for child, even for dog.
I have the child.
I have the dog.
You're holding a small sort of scrappy mongrel dog in your arms that's like wriggling, not knowing why it's been grabbed. Sariel, you are holding a small tiefling boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old, with teal skin, gold eyes, and a short crop of messy green hair. He's wearing a simple wool shirt and a pair of rough green dungarees. He has 2 very stubby horns and a short tail that's flicking constantly behind him. He's looking up at you, gold eyes, completely wide, in shock, as he's just been grabbed and pulled out of the way of the coach.
He's just equally in shock.
Are you okay? I think so.
You're not hurt, are you?
He's trembling in your arms.
It's okay.
Is that your house?
Yeah.
Let's take him back.
A woman comes running out afterwards now. You see a young elven woman with warm dark skin and natural reddish brown hair and corkscrew curls that catch the wind. She looks shocked. She's wearing like a crown of daisies in her hair. She looks absolutely shocked as she runs out, dark eyes wide, freckles on her face, holding her arms around her yellow cotton dress as it blows in the wind. She's like, I saw it happening.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. She looks you over. And then she lands on Astra and sort of goes silent in shock. Who are you? Where do you come from? Who is... What?
Give the child.
She goes over to the boy and he just hugs her leg immediately and looks at all of you in
Deposit
absolute
dog.
shock. And the dog just, you put the dog down, it's just like, ruff, 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 and starts running in circles around them. I suppose you should probably come inside. I'm Lena, by the way.
Cassian.
Nice to meet you, I'm Sariel.
Vanden. And you are?
Third Astra. Who's this?
This is Cavern. I call him Finn.
What?
I feel like we have some talking to do.
What?
His voice like, hello? You wanna come inside? Okay. I suppose we probably should. And Lena's like, please come in, I'll get some tea on. Oh, my nerves are shook.
Go and stand closer to Astra as we go in.
Are you okay?
Cneffin's my dad's name.
We should see what this is.
Let's see what this is.
You head inside the cottage. It's got a small sign outside the front door that says Pilgrim's Rest. It's a 2-story wooden cabin. The outer walls stained a rich reddish brown, and the windows flanked by green shutters with window boxes overflowing with white and purple flowers. You're led around the outside to a small porch which sports 4 intricately carved wooden posts and some wicker furniture. Passing the posts, you note the carvings on them seem to be unfinished. Just looking at them as you pass by, the ones at the top seem older, depicting woodland and a great oak tree. The lower ones depict images of a father and son fishing, a woman dancing in the wheat. Some of the lowest ones look very fresh and less expertly carved, as if by a learner or a young child. Inside the cottage is simple and homely, with a large hearth giving off warmth and bunches of dried herbs hanging around the door frames. There's a scattering of furniture, and the walls are covered with crafted arts made of wicker or framed embroidery, and what looks like hand paintings by Finn and sketches by someone far more skilled. As you come in, Lena sort of checks Finn over. It's like, "Are you okay, sweetie? Okay. Why don't you take a seat with our new friends and I'll make some tea." And she heads over to sort of the kitchen end of the room and starts putting a pot on the small stove.
Astra is staring at this child.
Finn climbs up onto one of the wicker sofas and just swings his leg a little bit. And he looks at Astra sort of. "Do you know Oakley?"
No. Who's Oakley?
"My dad."
Do I know Oakley?
"No."
No. Wild.
Much to think about.
Where is your dad?
Went looking for my granddad.
Who's your granddad?
I'm named after him. I've never met him. Gone a long time ago.
What?
Lena sort of leans over from the other end of the kitchen as you can see her putting dandelions and nettles into the teapot to stew it from fresh plants. Finn's dad left us a couple of years ago. His mother passed and she left him a letter that explained a little bit more about his own father. And he left because he wanted to find him.
What did it say?
I don't know off by heart. I have it around here somewhere. I can dig it out for you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to see it.
If you don't mind me asking, who are you?
I'm Astra. From near Riven.
I've never seen another tiefling besides Finn and my husband before, and as I understood it, this was a really rare skin tone, this teal.
Yes,
I can see that you're as shocked as I
I
am.
think so. What? He's named after his granddad?
Kevin, but Oakley always had a hard time saying it, so we just shortened it to Finn.
By any chance, there isn't a strange, twisting oak tree around here somewhere, is there?
You see absolute recognition in her expression as you say that. Yes. Right in the middle of the wood.
Astra sits down.
And did the two of you always live here?
This cottage belonged to Oakley's mother, and his father who helped build it. And when we met, I moved in here, and then we married, so I guess it's in my care now. He left 2 years ago, promising to be no longer than a year, but haven't heard from him since.
Not at all.
I'm a sort of honorary member of, well, it's a group, it's not really much of an organisation, but Melora's Circle. There's a small group of people who live in the land around the wood, make sure it's protected. They sort of live off it and do no harm to creatures or plants or anything and worship Melora. Obviously we live here, but that's our closest friends. And that's where the tree is. They protect it.
Is that the area of land that the farmer wants to turn into crops?
Yeah, it is. head is. It's a shame, really. I know the owners of Stalingrad technically own the land, but it's sad to think of cutting it down. The old farmer, Franz's dad, he didn't mind Melora's circle living there in that wood. He thought it was quite nice. But the farm isn't doing well, supposedly, and he wants more land. Finn's grandfather planted that tree, and
Oh my god.
we just want to protect it.
Astra.
One of the problems is the farm has the backing of the temple in town. Don't know how much you know about Firesse, but it's a temple to Arathis. And they only see good to come out of cutting all the trees down and building more agricultural fields. Arathis is the antithesis of Melora, as they say.
That doesn't seem right that two gods should be the antithesis of each other.
I suppose not. Then she comes over with the tea and sort of sets down a few cups. They all look like they've been handcrafted out of clay. And tips out some tea and it's like, please, help yourself. It's like sets out some biscuits. It's like, I'll see if I can dig out that letter for you.
Thank you. If you don't mind me asking, how old is Oakley?
I think 28 now.
Right. Okay. And thank you for the tea.
Finn's like, I'll help you look, Mum, and hops down off the chair and grabs her hand. And they're like, we won't be a minute. Sort of disappear into a back room. You okay, Astra?
I don't know.
I take it Kynefin isn't a common name amongst your people.
Not particularly. And as she said,
So,
my immediate... my family are the only ones with this sin colour in my tribe. Everyone else, the rest of the tieflings are different.
Right.
My mum is not teal, but it's prominent colour in it.
Right.
So your dad really put down roots here.
Seems so.
I mean, I guess he had to have his own pilgrimage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Oakley is possibly your older brother?
And that makes Finn your nephew.
This woman your sister-in-law.
I mean, it's not unheard of people finding love outside of before they return back, but I never knew. If it's true, I don't know when. I can't imagine otherwise, but...
Take your time. It's a lot to suddenly come into the knowledge of.
Wow.
It's kind of amazing.
You're telling me? God, I wish I could talk to him and ask him.
Suppose it begs the question why you never came back to visit or anything.
Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he left again before he found out.
I suppose so, but if you built a house with someone, probably want to check in on how they're doing.
It's true.
I certainly would. I'd want to see if the house was in good condition.
You can't.
What do you mean?
when you... It's not recommended that you make relationships out when you go on your pilgrimage, because when you're finished, you go back home.
And you can't leave again?
No.
Why?
That's crazy.
Oh, it's better there, it's safer there. And so it's just safer for everyone to stick together.
It's safe in lots of places.
It's not the same.
But if he fell in love with someone here and he had to go back, would he have taken her back there?
That shakes the head. No.
That's not allowed, is it? You said they have wards to keep people out.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't take her?
No. Not allowed to. No one outside of the clan's allowed back in.
Right. Before anything else can be said, Ben comes running back in. He's waving a piece of parchment in his hand. Found it!
Thanks.
Takes it over to you and it's like,
Squat down onto my haunches and just take it from her. Thank you.
no problem. It's the only thing I have that I know my granddad wrote. But there's lots of art in the house that he did.
Maybe you can show me some of it? Thank you, little one. Boop his nose with my tail.
You see his tail sort of flips back and forth and wraps around his leg nervously. And it's like, come on, help me make some snacks. Sort of ushers him into the kitchen at the other end of the room. Are you going to read it?
I'm gonna read it.
You unfold the parchment.
Oh my god.
And it reads, My dearest Alea, if you are reading this letter, I have already taken my leave. The time has come at last that I must return home. As you know, if I could stay here with you for good, I would do so. But my duties back home cannot be ignored, as much as I believe my life's purpose is to be here with you and our son. I do not wish to incur my father's wrath, or leave our people without a leader in future. I trust you to always keep our secret, and to keep it from Oakley, for he must grow up believing that he cannot follow me. I wish it didn't have to be this way. I hope that my leaving this way eases the pain of saying goodbye. Just as we always said, you can pretend I am nothing but a weary pilgrim who passed by in the night. Yours always, Katelyn.
Fuck. That's him. This is my dad. This is my nephew. He had a family.
Can I hug you, Astra?
Please.
I'll give him a hug.
Lena sort of peers back around, like from the other end of the room. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Did you just say your dad?
Katelyn's my dad.
Oh.
Hi.
That makes Oakley your brother?
I suppose so.
Oh. And Finn here must be your nephew. He's sort of clinging to the fabric of her like buttercup yellow dress. Like,
Hi.
never been anybody's nephew before.
Never been anybody's uncle before.
Uncle Astra has a good ring to it.
It does.
I can tell you all about your granddad Katelyn if you want.
Looks up at Lena. She's like, yeah, of course. comes over to you and is like, I like you. I think we should be friends.
I'd love to be friends. You've got an aunt and uncle as well, another one.
He turns around and he's like, Mama! She's like, I know, honey, I know. She comes over and pats him on the shoulder and is like, can I hug you?
Sure.
Alina just wraps her arms around you.
Oh my god. Hug!
She hugs you so tight, like you can imagine she would hug Oakley if she could see him right now. And Finn sort of looks up and is like, do you want to see the grandpa tree?
I'd love to see the grandpa tree.
Mama? She's like, yeah, of course we can go into the woods.
We're going to look across the road though before we cross it, okay?
Come on, Pooch. And takes your hand, Astra, and starts leading you towards the door again. And this time makes a point of like looking up and down the road first. And it's like, I mean, to be fair, that carriage was doing a ridiculous speed.
Oh, absolutely the driver's fault.
Can't thank you enough, though. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost him. Right, let's cross. And then she leads you over the road and through a small stone wall with like a simple metal gate and a carved sign that says Melora's Wood. The moment you step through the gate, you're struck with a palpable feeling that this is somewhere special. The air seems lighter and warmer, a sense of calm washing over you. You can hear birdsong in the air, and as you step into the tree line, the sunlight dapples through the canopy, dancing across the ground as the leaves sway in the slight wind. The trees bow and bend, thick branches sometimes reaching down to the ground in a gentle curve, asking for someone to take a seat. Others are draped in a curtain of vines and ivy as small critters dart through the leaf litter and watch you from afar. Finn takes the lead, now skipping along idly, as naturally as someone who's grown up in this forest, occasionally glancing back just to make sure you're following. He seems more at peace amongst nature. And eventually, you're led winding through the trees to an unmistakable sight. A towering, twisted oak tree just like the one you saw on the shrine in Valathra. A little smaller and younger than that one, but still awe-inspiring to look upon. Here in the clearing, the boughs of the surrounding trees, and indeed the oak tree itself, are strung with magical lighting and colourful streamers, strings of flowers. A couple of tents are set up in the space around it, and a few people sit around, preparing food or knitting and weaving together. They look up at your arrival, recognition on their faces, and shock at the sight of Astra. One of them immediately, a sort of elven man with wild red curls that come down to his waist, dressed in rough cotton clothing and carrying pouches of herbs around his waist. He's like, Oakley? No. And stands up from what he's doing and comes over. Finnegan, who are these people? You see the boys like smack. Not Finnegan. No. It's Katelyn. He looks at you with a beaming smile of like, yeah, you pronounced it correctly.
Everyone else here calls me Kin Evan.
Nice to meet you. I'm Cedric.
I'm Vanden Astra.
An absolute pleasure. And he turns to all of you and like warmly introduces himself. It's like, welcome to Melora's Circle.
It's beautiful.
It's just a sweet little commune. You know, live off the land, take care of the trees. And you're welcome to relax, partake in the peace here all you want. As long as you mean no harm to the forest.
Katelyn planted this tree.
He sure did. Great guy.
You knew him?
I did. Friend of mine when he was still living here.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
never told me any of the stories of when he travelled.
Bit of an old curmudgeon, but
Tell me about it.
he was charming, an excellent artist, and just his devotion to this grove of trees was unmatched.
I never knew he was an artist. That's my dad.
Oh, you're Oakley's brother.
Apparently so.
Have you seen him?
No.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. You're welcome to stay as long as you want to. Got stories about your old man for probably enough to tell all night. That's Mia over there, and he gestures to an elderly human woman wearing a knitted shawl and knitting clothes as she sits there and watches you, not stopping even as she sort of roughly raises one hand to wave to you. That's Francois, and you see at the other end, sort of leaning against the oak tree on the other side, a gruff-looking man with no sleeves on his shirt, who looks very, very tall, even sitting down. He's got some goblin-like features, despite the fact he's clearly human.
Horrifying.
Poor goblin man.
There's a couple of kids who come running out of some of the other trees, all a variety. You see a very, very small child who must be halfling, and like a taller child might be human. And they're like, Finn! Finn! And they sort of beckon him away quickly, and he runs over to see what they're doing, and they like, show him a frog.
It's not a frog!
They don't look like they're anyone's kids in particular here, just like of the people you can see.
Commune kids. Feral woodland beings.
You see another woman who looks to be making some sort of charm in the symbol of Melora. And you see around the trees, there are quite a few of these charms sort of hung around, kind of like mobiles. Lena comes up to you and puts a hand on your shoulder and is like, I'm sure this must be as shocking for you as it is for us.
Yes. I'd say so.
Well, you're welcome to stay and partake in our food if you want to. Even better if you can find something to contribute to the meal. That's how it works around here.
Really implemented everything from home back here, huh?
I'd love to hear more about it, if you're able to. But as I understand it from Oakley's mother, that's not really something that's possible.
Not really. What? He just went in a direction then? Or did he have an idea of where to go? Oakley, I mean.
He said he was just going to set out until he found his way. He knew to head sort of northwest-ish. As his mother had always spoken about his father coming from the northwest, but apart from that, I just hope he's okay.
I'm sure he is. My dad never spoke much about his journey, so this is a lot to see and know that this is where he ended his journey, you know. Oh. I'm just going to sit down and take a few minutes, if that's okay.
Of course.
Astra's going to go and sit at the base of the tree, just with a hand touching one of the big roots, just staring up into the branches.
You feel just a warmth from the Melora necklace around your neck, just against your chest.
Just take it out in both hands and just press it against my lips thoughtfully. Much to think about.
As we give him a few minutes, Vanden will turn to you two and be like, I mean, this is the last thing I expected to find.
Definitely.
Yes.
I guess we give them all the time they need.
Yes.
I doubt he'll say yes, but we see if we can convince the farmer of some other way to get that cart.
Yes, because I'm not comfortable
No.
moving these people and cutting down this wood.
No.
No.
If we get a chance, we should ask them about the Fae activity.
Yes, that's a good idea. Sort of peers around looking for who might be the right person to ask.
Cedric?
Yeah?
You, my man.
Yes. You see his wild curls that come like down to his waist, this big bushel of curly hair sort of blowing in the wind.
You don't happen to get much Fey activity in these woods, do you?
A little from time to time, but one of the druids that travels back and forth from here does have the capacity to summon them, so we kind of lead them to it. And
Right. Not any nasty little men with red caps.
I sure hope not. And then you see the woman who's knitting, Mia, just from where she sat still furiously knitting.
Do you know something about it?
I would just say his name is Georges, and he hasn't been back for a few days.
The druid?
I've just been thinking, while he's been gone, that I hope he doesn't do anything stupid trying to stop that farmer.
Trying to stop the farmer doing what?
Cutting down our wood.
Right. The creatures that we took out earlier stole an enchanted axe from town,
And knitting needle stopped at last.
and they were running in the direction of the farm.
Oh my. Stupid boy. Stops knitting again faster. Angry knitting.
Do you know where we might find him, or...?
Unfortunately not. A couple of people look for him, but we figured sometimes he just goes off on walks for a couple of weeks and turns up again. I don't know what we can do about it. Anyway, they're going to cut this forest down no matter what we do.
Not if we have anything to do with it.
That would be very nice, dearie. And she sort of looks you up and down, consideringly. Skinny little thing, I bet you get cold.
I have warm clothes for that sort of thing.
I'm literally wearing fur.
Still, you see her turn around to a big sort of leather bag that's pulled tight with it. It's just like a round thing with a string at the top. And pulls it open. Digs through it for a second, and then pulls out a long knitted purple scarf.
Oh,
It's like companion.
she'll come down.
Puts it around your neck.
Oh,
That'll keep you warm.
that's very kind of you, thank you. What does this Georges look like?
Blonde guy. He's fairly stocky, got broad jaw. Sort of. Would you say a messy beard? Cedric's like, I would definitely say a messy beard.
Roast him.
Always wearing the same sort of simple brown cotton. And, well, he's a bit of... He's one of those travelling types who doesn't wash his clothes all that much. And,
Oh,
No prestidigitation.
and you couldn't miss his long staff, big wooden staff that he's carved himself.
okay. Well, we'll see if we can find him.
And about cutting the woods down, the farmer seemed to be under the impression that that wouldn't happen unless you all were convinced to move. Why do you think it would happen regardless?
It's the influence of the temple, isn't it?
Right.
Farmand, you know, I don't think he's got the guts on his own to move us out, but the temple are really pushing for it.
Okay.
Doesn't seem very godly to me.
Different gods, different wants.
Yeah, well, I don't mess with that, and Rathis just keeps knitting.
This doesn't appreciate my knitting.
My Lord loves it, made her a scarf once.
Laura also knits. We have a club on Wednesdays.
Twisted tree with a scarf around it.
Some of the trees probably do have, you know, those people make those
Yarn.
tree scarves so that you don't have to nail things into them, but you can decorate them.
Yarn bomb things.
Yeah, probably have some of those like over the branches and stuff
Oh
as
god,
well.
amazing.
Well, I think maybe we should talk to the Temple of Arathis.
I
good idea.
agree.
Our list of things to do is getting longer and longer.
Well, we have all the time in the world, apparently.
Well, no, we've got the cow competition. Don't forget that.
I haven't forgotten about the cow competition, Sally. It's for a client.
Right.
I wasn't laughing.
You're really not good at this.
No.
Nudges you. He seems to be in slightly better spirits now.
So we've got the axe to return.
The extra return. And we need to talk to those people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We have a temple to visit.
We need to find this druid.
We need to find this druid.
We need to potentially stop these river runners who are coming to see the farmer.
Yes, I feel like, regardless of what he says, we can still intercept them on the way out with the cart.
It's true. They'll surely have to leave his farm and
Exactly.
come through.
If we hide them in the wheat. Who's gonna know?
Who's gonna know?
How would they know?
Fucking fields of wheat!
I absolutely loathe to suggest this,
But
but maybe we should get our things and set up camp somewhere we can see the farm, rather
Probably a
than
good
sleeping at
idea.
the tavern.
sure. At least Astra will get a comfy night's sleep.
Fuck yeah, I will. I wanted fondue.
We can still get
We can
fondue.
still listen, there's time in the day. We can get fondue and then come sleep here.
But what if they come now?
We'll do it afterwards. It'll be our post-bandit raiding treat.
Fondue, art gallery, cow parade.
Maybe go and stop a bunch of river runners.
This is after the river runners,
Oh
Sariel.
no, we've got to stop the actual river runners afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to
No,
stop the fortress.
Yes, we have the treats after we've done the fortress.
Mia knitting, just like at your feet where she's sat on like a log. Like, entering the cow competition, aren't you?
Not me personally. I'm making the costume on behalf of a little girl.
That's very sweet.
We're getting things in return.
Gives you a slightly competitive look.
How? Oh,
Oh.
are you knitting for a cow?
We certainly have a cow in the competition.
Who are you in the pantheon?
Who do you think? Mulora?
Moonlord.
I'm gonna fight one of you.
How's the costume going?
Pretty good, thank you.
Alright.
I knit a mean cow sweater.
I've tailored for people all over the city of Miratail and wider. Over 100
I've
years
never
of
even heard of the
experience.
city of Miratail.
I have over 100 years of experience under my belt.
Well, well, well. May the best cow costumer win.
You look out for cow Raylon.
You're on.
Right, Mia.
And she will lean forward and put a knitted hat on you.
Don't touch my hair.
And it's like, it's a lovely hat, thank you.
Puts it on Vanden's head.
Pulls it on.
Just like the flower crowns.
Gonna go check on Astra, see how
Yeah.
we're doing.
Like Moobiot.
No!
Just you wait.
Just you wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on Astra.
How you doing, buddy?
I think I'm okay. I think.
It's a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about getting our things and camping closer to here anyway to keep an eye out for the...
I'd like that.
Then maybe we can do that. And we could even camp here and Bramble could keep an eye out when he's back.
Mm-hmm. I'd like that.
Do you want to stay here, and if anything happens you can send us a message? We shouldn't be long.
Okay,
We'll
yes.
just drop off the axe on our way, or...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
We won't be long. Enjoy yourself.
Don't even know my dad used to draw, you know.
You'll have lots of things to talk to him about when you get home.
Doesn't answer that.
It's just going to put a hand on your cheek and be like, we'll be back soon. Let's get this done. Let's get this done.
Let's get this done.
Cassian's just gonna kind of linger behind next to Astra for a hot sec and just lean down and say, I'm sure you've already considered this, but maybe don't tell them too much. It seems cruel to give them hope, almost.
Don't worry. I won't. There's already so much I can't tell people. It's not gonna change.
I'm sorry, Astra. Enjoy this space.
The three of us can start heading back out towards the edge of the wood.
Oh, you have the axe in the bag of holding.
We can say we've retrieved it first. Yeah. Like we've taken the bag of holding for now,
Yeah.
in case
Yeah.
we need it. And we
It'll
put
be
all our
easy for you to
stuff
put all
in
your
it.
stuff in there,
Yeah.
As we do, head back out towards the edge of the wood, sort of picking through the winding trees. It almost seems like the trees are like lighting a path for us. Even though we wound through them to the centre, it feels like a fairly straight walk back out to the edge. As we do get out to the edge, an arrow flies past and sticks into the wall, into the stone wall. You can see it has a note wrapped around it.
Does it have a snake on it?
You get closer, you see a snake on the note. You quickly open it.
God.
On the inside it says, "We've been watching you. It's time to meet." And that is where we'll end tonight.
Oh my god! Same! It's exactly the mood. You guys. Don't. Oh my god.
This has been an episode.
This has been such an episode. So much just happened. Help.
So much.
I'm sorry, neither of us can talk right. Help.
It's okay. This is a great reaction to get as a DM. I love when this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, thank you for DMing.
It looks like you've got graduation.
Mark my words, I'll get you back for this next time I'm over there.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week in the third part of... Wow, it is the third part, but it's not going to be the last part.
No.
The Merchant's Revenge.
We will see you next week in the third part, but not the final part of A Merchant's Revenge.
Thank you for DMing.
Until then, it's okay. Until then, we are Nyx Rising, and we love you. Bye. Bye. You see the little man disappear into the field of wheat.
Theresa May.
Stop! Little man can't get funnier!
Hello everyone, it's Cassian. Thank you for joining us once again as we explore the town of Firesse. If you want to support the party's wild adventures, you can do so at patreon.com/NyxRising or grab yourself some merch on Teespring. And special thank yous as always to our executive producers, Jameson M, Lissa, Caitlin Ferguson, Alexandra Johnson, Liam Moran, Mason Scott, Meghan Charles, Benedict Allen, Adira A, Katie B, Jay Russo, and Emily Hogarth. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled on the road, and we'll see you on Wednesday.